Man, bro. I have a lot of thoughts. First and foremost, I just want to say this right out of the gate. This was a must-win in my opinion for the Bulls, and they blew it. They had every opportunity to win this game, and they decided not to. So, this is really bad. Like, I'm straight up just like, unless the Bulls are able to pull out a miracle tomorrow in Denver, this is a really bad loss for the Bulls. 15-point lead in the second half, you blew it. And you lost your composure at the start of the fourth quarter, and here we are yet again questioning Billy Donovan, at least in my opinion, down the stretch of not just the fourth quarter, but also in the overtime. I'm just like, what are we doing? Sorry, I see my mic has changed. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Why did my mic change? Hold on. Sorry, hold on. I have to hide screen. Wait, what? Sorry, hold on. Testing? Okay, I think that's better. Sorry. I'm looking at my mic and it's picking up background noise. I'm just like, what? Okay, we should be better now. Yeah, I'm just appalled with what Billy's doing down the stretch of these games, man. This is like the third crunch time game in a row now, or honestly, it's been like many games now in a row. It's not just even in crunch time. It's just in general with what Billy's doing in the fourth quarter that I'm lost. We'll talk about exactly what we need to look at, but in the grand scheme of things, man, this is a really bad loss for the Bulls. I was adamant heading into this game that this is you gotta win this one, bro. You're on a 4-game losing streak. You just lost to a Pistons squad with nobody, and you gotta come out and win this one, man. The Jazz are no joke though. Like, Lauri Markkanen's obviously on an insane run right now, but I still think this Jazz team is like okay. You can't act as if this team is just going to give you a win. And to me, with how things played out tonight, I'm aware that Zach Collins is still out, but I honestly just don't think it matters at this point. You got to win this game. Kobe's back, and I'm glad he's back. He looked great today, but Kobe even went past his minutes restriction and put up an insane game, and you still lost this game. I'm just like, Donovan is I think sort of failing the team a little bit, but the players got to come out and understand that, look, man, I don't care that you got off to a great start to this season. You're now officially on a 5-game losing streak. You've lost 6 of your last 7. It doesn't matter right now what you did the first 5 games of the season. October's gone. It's November now. You've won 1 game in November. All the numbers show that you've been pretty bad in November so far. I understand Kobe's back, but he's not playing tomorrow. It's so frustrating just to see this team act as if like they finished the season already. That Pistons loss pissed me off so bad after watching that game because it just made absolutely no sense. Now, to give the Bulls a little bit of slack, the Pistons basically took the exact same team and beat the Philadelphia 76ers, but still, I feel like you should have still won that game. And you come into Utah tonight and you have a 15-point lead and you blow it. Like, part of it may be Billy, and I know that a lot of people want to blame Billy, but I think we have to blame the players as well in this sort of situation. Bad turnovers start the fourth quarter. That includes Josh Giddey, who turned it over too much today. Just guys clearly not ready to actually come out and close out a game down the stretch. Like, this has been a serious issue the last couple of games here where the score is at least kind of close, where the Bulls have a lead heading into the fourth, and it wasn't that big of a lead heading into the fourth this time, but you have a lead and you aren't able to find a way to hold on to it or extend it in the fourth. Instead, it's collapsing on you. So it goes to overtime by the luck of the gods because Markkanen missed a free throw. It goes to a second overtime from, again, the luck of the gods because the Bulls had every chance to try to stay in the game, but then the Jazz messed up twice, and Kobe got the layup at the end, which great job by him. But it's too much in the end. I have a lot to talk about in this stream, so get ready for some rants. I'm pissed at Donovan. I'm not happy with these players right now, man. We have a lot we got a lot to talk about right here. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the stream. I sincerely appreciate everyone coming back, even though we just had a 3-day break from the Bulls. You'll be seeing a lot of me this week because this is the first game of 5 of the week. So get ready to see a lot of me, and hopefully I'm gonna be in a better mood. But I'm not happy, man. I'm really pissed off at this current moment in time. I'm not screaming into my mic like I was after the Pistons loss, but this is pretty bad. Not gonna lie. So hit the like button if you've not already hit the like button. I sincerely do appreciate the support. I have a new article out as well that I'll be posting into the chat today. Hope if you have not read it yet, please take the time to read it. Let's talk. I'm really pissed, y'all. I'm honestly really pissed. What's going on, Charles? I'm likely alone here, but I don't think I felt anyone looked good consistently tonight. Io the nearest. I would have preferred more Io minutes towards the end. So I completely agree. Now I know Io had a horrible second overtime. He had a terrible turnover. He fouled a 3-point shooter. It was a terrible second overtime. But I was confused why he was taken out during regulation to not close that game. He hit a clutch 3, which has been kind of his calling card this season. So I don't really understand why he was taken out. And then we didn't see him in the first overtime, which also didn't make much sense to me. Now, granted, again, I'll give Billy this. It was a horrible second overtime for Io, but I don't know. I definitely would have preferred that. I will talk about more of what I'm pissed off with Donovan, but I'll get into this. The ball moved up slowly most of the game, which wasn't helpful for the style they've been doing so well with. So I completely agree with this. I think that the Bulls, for some reason, besides in that second quarter, they decided to slow it down, and I don't know why. It's not one person, it's just everybody. It felt like people weren't running as much today. Now, some credit to the Jazz. I did see them really running back on defense in some moments, but the Bulls had many opportunities, I think, to try to score in transition more. They just didn't take advantage of it. Good game. Kobe played well in his return. Bulls' fourth quarter problems just got them again, and it's a serious issue right now. Unfortunately, when it comes to where this team is at, as much as I want to give them as much credit as possible and be like, hey, you know what? You're doing a great job through 3 quarters. The only way you're going to prove that you're a better team is if you're winning the fourth. Or you hold on to the lead in the fourth quarter when it matters. And the Bulls just haven't done that. There's too many moments down the stretch of games right now where I'm watching the offense and it dies. There is some calls near the end that I didn't understand from Donovan. And Kobe being back was very clearly very helpful. 14 free throws today is just insane. But at the same time, I'm still just looking around at some of these possessions, even when Kobe touches the ball, and I'm like, what's happening? The best possession, honestly, was when it was a Giddey Kobe pick and roll that Kobe kind of slipped, and Giddey got a little floater out of it. But other than that, it wasn't really good down the stretch of the game. But I'm looking at even way before that when the Bulls head into the fourth with the lead, and they come out of the fourth quarter with 3 terrible turnovers. That's what I'm looking at as well. So it's I'm looking at this team, and it's the fourth quarter hits recently, and all of a sudden it just feels like everything goes to shit. You can't do this in this league. This is you didn't build yourself a large lead from that third quarter because you had a bad overall third quarter with too many fouls, and then you back it up with a bad start to the fourth, and you're not able to close it out. It just shows, man. I'm really questioning right now. Donovan's part of it, but these guys are gonna have to grow up quickly because there's no vet right now, especially with Trey Jones being out, that I guess can kind of slow down the team a little bit and kind of make sure we're getting some decent looks on offense. But Giddey and Kobe are gonna have to really, I know, I'm not gonna blame Kobe too much because again, minutes restriction today, it's weird, but these guys are gonna have to really start learning quickly here. So not sure what exactly we need to do to fix all this besides just reps, but it's gotta get better quickly. I'm looking at some guys right now. I don't blame Kobe for it. I know everyone else might think he did great, but I think Kobe had moments that look bad. Even I think everyone had moments that look bad today. I'm not gonna blame Kobe at all, just due to some rust, because one, Kobe, I mean, he legitimately just saved our asses in that first overtime. He was pretty huge in this game getting to the free throw line. So I'm not blaming Kobe at all in this game. There are definitely some rough moments, but it's his first game back. He hasn't played in a while. I'm not blaming Kobe. He had actually a really good game today. So all things considered, not blaming Kobe. Giddey, too many turnovers tonight. I know it's Giddey's, first game back in a little bit here, but you're the main guy. Triple-double, but way too many turnovers tonight. We can't have those turnovers. It's got to be better. Don't understand Isaac Okoro, bro. I'm starting to get really pissed at how much Isaac Okoro is playing. But you know, we'll have to live through it. Vooch kind of found it in the second half, but it wasn't a good first half by him. The starters have to be better. Buzel's got it going early, but it wasn't enough. The bench legitimately carried this team again. I would have liked to seen Ayo out there more. Kevin Huerter had a rough game, but you know, he's been pretty good this season overall. But either way, the biggest issue to me still, like even with some of these better individual performances, is just that the defense just isn't where it needs to be. Like, you know, all this talk about this Bulls defense earlier on in the season of how good it was. I'm watching this defense now, and it's like, you know, forget the 150 points that's up here, but like 33, 33, 28, 33. I mean, that's 3 quarters where you're giving up 30 points or more. That's just in regulation, okay? This is a problem. We cannot continue to do this. You're not going to win games if you're continuously giving up this many points. It's just not going to work. And the Bulls in this game, like they did like an all right job of protecting the paint from like the first half, but then the Jazz got to 40 points in the paint, like at the end of the third quarter, but it was also with a bunch of fouls. And you know, the Jazz were missing their threes early, but then they started to hit them late. You can't give up both, and you can't foul as much as you did in this game, and expect to win. So I think that's just probably where I'm pissed off the most right now, is just because like we're on a 4-game losing streak, guys. We just had the worst loss of the season right now, the last game. We have 3 days off. We should be the most, you know, we should be coming in feeling pretty fresh. I understand it's in Salt Lake, but it's just like you got to come in and be ready to win this game. And you know, you had a 15-point lead. You should be running this team out of the gym at that point. And we're blowing it. It's just you're just seeing that this team is not ready right now. And I don't really know what else to do to motivate them to play some better defense, because like good, like, you know, there's offensive numbers, but you're not going to win if you're playing this terrible defense right now. Bad subs again by Billy. I don't understand the last shot of the fourth and second OT not going to Kobe SMH. So last shot, I could understand it. It was a 0.8, you know, 0.8 of a second there, and you know, they ran a little misdirection. Vooch got a wide open look. I'm not pissed at it. It's a very wide open look for Vooch. He, you know, is very capable of making that shot. That's fine to me. Fourth quarter, where they went to Giddey, made no sense to me whatsoever. I think isolating Giddey is a terrible decision. And he got a good look at it. He just missed it. So, you know, it's, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't look as bad, but I still don't like that decision by Donovan. The Bulls decided to go to Kobe at the end of the first overtime, and hey, he converted. I personally would have liked to see the Bulls go for the win, though. And we're sitting here, and you're seeing why. But you know, shout out to Kobe again. Like he did everything in that, you know, the last like seconds in that first OT. So, but yeah, the subs for Donovan just made no sense down the stretch. I was so lost. But Kobe needed more rest. He even looked to call for a sub and left in. Oh, I know. I could definitely see Kobe was gassed, but I mean, I would argue that a lot of people were gassed in this game, but I could tell Kobe was gassed, and hey, it makes total sense for him to be gassed. It's his first game back in a while, but God, man, it's just bad game, man. Just a bad game. It's a terrible game. 26-4 in his first game back. No, he didn't look bad. Like, there were bad moments from Kobe. He looked good. But again, I'm not blaming Kobe for his bad moments today at all. Billy should have given Ayo a few of those fourth quarter Kobe minutes so Kobe could be a bit fresher before he had one of those disaster runs. Even then, I don't even think it was that bad from Kobe overall. I think Giddey wasn't playing that great down the stretch either. I think the Bulls in general weren't playing great down the stretch. So I think Billy Donovan managed Kobe's minutes just fine in regulation. I applaud him for just throwing out the minutes restriction in OT, but you know, that's probably the only thing I'm going to be applauding him when it comes to Billy Donovan tonight, because there's so many things I need to like just be so pissed off at him about. It's all about how the Bulls have no rim protector, which hurts them. I mean, yeah, I understand that's a part of their issue defensively, but like, you can have the best rim protector in the world, but if the guys on the perimeter aren't going to play perimeter defense, it doesn't matter if you have a good rim protector. The Bulls need to find a way to just be better. It's important that the Bulls defensively on the perimeter and as a team have to get better. Like, I don't care if you have Rudy Gobert back there. If you're not playing better defensively on the perimeter, it just doesn't matter. You're still gonna get wrecked. rim protector is needed. I'm very much aware that Zach Collins needs to come back and help, the interior defense, but interior defense is everybody. It's not just the rim protector, but yes, a rim protector is desperately needed. Vucevic has not been good at all recently, at least defensively, so we don't have that, so it's just the cards that were dealt. That's a stat like they'll tell you, missed open passes, mostly looked to the basket, too much force plays, was a bit gassed at times, which was Billy's fault. Nah. I personally, with the way that some of the plays were being run down the stretch, I was okay with Kobe trying to force some stuff. I'm cool with it. Julian got benched having a great game. This is another issue I had. Yeah, same with Jalen. Jalen wasn't having the best game. He was missing a lot of shots. Like, I understand going back to Vooch down the stretch, but I don't understand why Io was out at the end of the game or end of regulation, and then he didn't see the first overtime, which made no sense. So yeah, I'm pissed off about that. Not Kobe, I felt the team looked bad. If they played closer to the Northern, I think they would have got a good win. I mean, but the problem is though, is that like this norm that we're talking about right now, like I don't even know what the norm is for this team anymore. Like right now for the month of November, the norm is bad defense and like, the field goal percentage is like okay on offense, especially from 3-point range, but it's not enough points. Like we're still not getting enough points from this team to overcome our bad defense. So like, I don't know if I would say the norm, right, from this Bulls team. Like, I would say that if the Bulls played like their goal, right, of playing faster and trying to get downhill quicker, looking to attack this Jazz, transition defense more consistently, then yeah, I think that they should have gotten a pretty good win here. If they also play better defense like they were at the start of the season, which was helped from some bad 3-point shooting, but they were playing a little bit better at the start of the year, and getting some, deflections. Like you could tell Trey Jones was sorely missed today because he's the guy that gets the most turnovers or creates the most turnovers, and the Bulls weren't able to create any turnovers really tonight. And it was sorely missed. So I know Trey Jones is out, but I don't like the entire defense can't just be on Trey Jones. Like these guys have to find ways to create turnovers if they're not going to be able to, effectively guard the paint. It just is what it is. Seeing Kobe limping back to the bench on a timeout, I think he's probably pretty sore right now. So again, he's way past his minutes restriction. He's not supposed to be playing this many minutes. So props to him from toughing it out. He did really well in these minutes, but he definitely ain't playing tomorrow. So yeah. I think Kobe can make you a friend regardless what he does. I do think, Charles, you're being a little bit too hard on Kobe, but like, it's our opinions at the end of the day. But I think it's pretty rough to be like on his ass when it comes to him coming back, and he was kind of huge on the stretch of this one. So like I said, I think Kobe's like his miscues today, I'm throwing out the window. First game back, so I should have more minutes for sure. Smith, I think, started dip was why for the benching. I was fine with the Smith benching. Like he wasn't playing the best. Like, but I needed more minutes today. I was lost at why he didn't play more. Bulls wrote double figures, gonna blew it. Yeah, we just blew it again. Like, I honestly don't even think that we can even say anything else besides that the Bulls just blew it. Like, you're in the catbird seat here if you're the Bulls. In that third quarter, you're up by 15 points, and the Jazz weren't making any shots from the field. You were just fouling them way too much, which allowed them to stick around in the game. And you should have went on and tried to extend that lead when the Jazz offense went cold, and you didn't. You suddenly had some bad possessions on offense. You started turning it over a little bit. All of a sudden the defense is not looking great, and so the Jazz are just going right into the paint and scoring when they couldn't score for like a good 3-minute stretch in that third quarter, and it killed the lead, right? And then you go into the fourth and you just blow it out, and suddenly the Jazz are leading. Like it's all on Bulls. This is all on the Bulls for not maintaining their composure and understanding the time and moment and making sure that we don't make these bad and avoidable mistakes. Yeah, here we are. Jordan Poole, rating type player generally there. Overall, I blame Billy since it was team looking weird as a whole. I think Billy needs to get really heavily questioned, because I know there's a lot of Bulls fans right now that are trying to always back up Billy Donovan, but these were the Bulls fans that were talking about after like the 5-game winning streak. They were like, oh my god, like, you know what, it's so great that I don't have to think about this Bulls team not playing down to their competition. Like, we're gonna come in and whoop everyone's asses and play fast and everything like that. And then these last couple of games here in crunch time and that Pistons loss, I'm just like, so what happened, y'all? Like, you guys are the Billy Donovan, like, end-all be-all savior or supporters. Like, all of a sudden now, the things that you said at Billy Donovan that you've been praising the hell out of him for has gone out the window. And we're not blaming Billy at all. Like, I think we have to at some point when it comes to this sort of stuff here, because there are many Bulls fans that love this team, right? There are so many Bulls fans right now, and it's driving me insane. But there are many Bulls fans talking about how much they love this squad. And the Bulls in these recent games, you blew a lead to Milwaukee, or I don't even say lead, but the fourth quarter was rough. You didn't keep it close enough. You had a wide open, you had a pretty large lead in Cleveland. You blew an 18-point lead in Cleveland. You then lost on a 12-0 run by the Cavaliers down the stretch of the game. You lost that game, okay? San Antonio, you're up by 12 in the fourth quarter, and you lose that game as well, okay? Pistons have 7 guys out for the game. Their entire starting lineup is out, and you lose that game convincingly. You weren't even in the game. And in this one, you have a 15-point lead in the second half. You go into the fourth with the lead, and you lose this one as well. Like, okay, yeah, the players are definitely some of them have to be at fault here for some terrible play, not understanding the moment, and making some bad avoidable mistakes in crucial moments, okay? But there's also been some very terrible, at least in my opinion, some really bad overall decisions when it comes to the game plan. And I'm livid just sitting here. I'm like, who's making these decisions? If it's Billy overall, then like I'm heavily questioning what he's looking at when the game is going on. Like it's almost like politics have really started to take over already, and like we have to make sure that the starters get their minutes, or else it's like end all be all, and the Bulls are gonna like, you know, somehow someone's gonna like, they're gonna hit by like a meteor or something like that. Like there have been too many moments in these recent games where I'm like, the bench, some of these bench guys got to be in the game here. Like Vooch has struggled up until today. But like, you know, Jalen Smith should have closed that game out in Cleveland. Io should have been in that game in Cleveland, right? In San Antonio, Matas Buzelis was benched like with like the last like 14 minutes or whatever in that game, and the Spurs are going to a Cornet Wemby lineup, and we don't see Buzelis at all in the fourth quarter. Like, I just doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to have the guys ready for that Pistons game. You lose that one convincingly. It wasn't even close. And then this game, I'm watching Lauri Markkanen torching Isaac Okoro, and the Bulls, for some reason, can't figure out how to guard a rip screen or a flare screen when it comes to Markkanen and his actions. But yet, I'm watching Buzelis is out there guarding Isaiah Collier or Keontae George instead of guarding the 7-footer that is torching the 6'4" guy. Like, I don't understand the thought process going on with these decisions. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, Billy is looking at the game, and first and foremost, Billy took out Buzelis like for most of that fourth. Like, he took him out when it came down to crunch time, and I'm just like, Buzelis has been totally fine in this game. Like, I don't understand why you've taken him out. He then puts him back in the game with like a minute left to go in regulation. And like, I'm like, bro, we could have used him when Markkanen was on his run out here, just torching Okoro. Like, I don't get why Buzelis is benched in this one. I don't understand why he was benched in that San Antonio game either. Like, it's not like he's playing bad. No one was really playing the perfect game today, and yet you're deciding to run with the guy that can't score in Okoro, and you're hoping that he's going to find a way to stop Markkanen at 6'4". Like, nothing makes sense in my head right now with what I'm watching, and it's pissing me off because I'm like, I think this Bulls team is not being put in the best position to try to win these games right now. But at the same time, these guys gotta find a way to execute better down the stretch. I still think that's also on the coach. Like, the coach has to take some responsibility in this in some sort of fashion. Late game also in overtime. I think Io should have been out there at least at the end to end the game or into overtime, and for some reason Herter was in there. Herter's had a rough game today. Like, I don't know why Herter was in during these overtimes. Like, it's a rough day for him. So if this is truly win by committee, right? We win by committee here. Then why aren't we playing our better guys, or the guys that have had better games today? Julian Phillips has had a really great game today, and we didn't see him at all. Patrick Williams was like not much today, and for some reason Pat played more than Julian Phillips. Like I just, nothing makes sense to me. I mean, hell, I would have even tried to put Julian Phillips on Markkanen instead of a Okoro, just because I know Phillips is at least 6'7". So I just don't know, man. Like, there are just so many just confusing decisions recently that I have been lost at when it comes to Billy. I'm pretty pissed. Like, I'm actively just frustrated, and I don't know, I'm just done. I'm just done when it comes to watching Billy just fail these moments, but there's a lot of people that love him. The front office loves him. There's just so many people that love him that I'm just like, all right, well, I'm not gonna be able to change anything, but we need to make sure that we don't just leave these games and be like, oh, you know, the players just failed again, which, yeah, the players did fail again, but I also think the coaching is failing right now. I am very confused with some of these late game decisions, this current moment in time. Guys are pretty deep and young, along with the 2 20+ point per game scorers. Good things to have in a long season. Oh, for sure. I think the Jazz are very, like, they have some very good young people or prospects, and, you know, this is a game where Ace Bailey played 10 minutes and fouled out in 10 minutes. Like, you know, we didn't even see the full Jazz tonight. You know, Walker Kessler's out for the year, but yeah, man, like, this is a very quality, like, all right Jazz squad. Like, I don't think they're going to be winning anything in the West because it's the West, but that does not mean that, like, they can just come on in and you know, you're going to lay down to the Bulls. Like, they could definitely win against this Bulls team easily, and, you know, it wasn't easy tonight, but it's very doable. This is a quality Jazz team, and they have a guy in Markkanen that's averaging 30. Like, it's incredible what happens when you have a guy like that on your squad. Like, there's a lot of things that happen because of his gravity. Bulls could very well lose their next 2, also 7 in a row. You know, I hope they do. Wait, I mean, look, man, like, this game today, like, to me, this was a must win because you're gonna have to go to Denver tomorrow, and I'm like, you're not winning that one. So the fact that it even went to double overtime and you lost is like basically shooting us when we're down, because it's like you're already screwed for tomorrow because it's the second game of a back-to-back and you're facing Denver in Denver, and now you're gonna be with even more tired legs, and you didn't even get the win tonight. So I'm like, okay, we are officially, like, it's probably gonna be a 6-game losing streak after tomorrow, unless the Bulls pull out a miracle. This is assuming Jokic is available. If Jokic is available, then good luck to us, because Jokic is just, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen Jokic's recent shooting splits. It's insane. But yeah, this is a must win. I also don't think you're gonna go and easily beat Portland, because Portland's actually playing like quality basketball right now. It's not perfect, but like they're like okay out in the West. So I'm like, bro, this was the game to win on your little 3-game West Coast road trip here, and you blew it. I have little to no faith you're winning tomorrow. But I mean, Portland, like, it's definitely doable to win in Portland, but there's like, that's a quality team out there. Like, I look at a lot of these Western Conference teams right now, like even like the Phoenix Suns, and I'm just like, I thought Phoenix was gonna be shit, but they're playing pretty well right now. Like, I don't care what the record shows. Like, this Jazz team's like all right, and now you gotta go and face a contender and in another playoff team right now in Portland, who's, I mean, they're currently listed in the playoffs, but it's just like, hey, this doesn't get any easier until like we get past like Miami here. But even if we, you know, Miami's not an easy game. After that, the Bulls are gonna have some like really winnable games. Like, we're facing Washington, Brooklyn, Pacers, but like, we can't just like keep losing up until that point. There's a lot of games right now we got to go out and try to be better at. Like, we gotta try to win some of these games here, but it's not doing us any favors that you lost to that nobody Pistons squad, and then you lose to probably the most winnable team or beatable team tonight. Like, it does you no favors. It's not like the Nuggets are gonna have any sort of sympathy for us tomorrow, because like, oh, double overtime, you know what, we're gonna take a break tomorrow and we'll let you guys stay in this one. Like, there's no reason for Denver to do that. In the West, every game matters. This is just like, you're just dropping games right now that like you need to win. Yeah, I'm pissed, man. Most winnable game on the schedule, definitely in this week. It's the most winnable game on the schedule, in my opinion. Yeah. Just a better team than gave him credit for sure. I agree. Giddey looked rusty today. Should have been Kobe's shot at the end of the fourth. So I was pissed off with that. I'll talk about that last shot from Giddey. Like, he missed those 2 shots at the rim. I don't know what Billy's looking at for that play, but hey, I mean, Giddy got to the rim, but it looked bad. I hated that. I'm not saying that Kobe needed to be involved, but like, I would have put Kobe involved in that play. Whether it's just setting a screen or something, it's just the fact that he didn't do anything was just weird to me. Yeah, I don't like that play at all. Kobe at the end of the fourth, I just basically hit nothing. Just hit basically nothing, and I think the plays broke down. But I mean, like, Kobe is the only guy getting to the free throw line. Like, that's the thing. I'm gonna try to give it to him because I have more faith right now in him trying to get to the free throw line. Like, you know, Giddy hit some shots, but I just, you know, in an ISO play, I don't know what's going on, man. Billy fucking up though, man. We're supposed to be a depth team. Once we get to the late third/fourth, he shuts it down, goes back to what he did last year. I mean, I would argue that it's like he's playing the bench more than like last season, but in like, you know, the usual like bench rotations, but he's not closing games with certain guys I think he should be closing with, and that's where I agree with that. Like, Billy's like just like starter only down the stretch most of the time. Like, you'll have like one bench guy out there sometimes, but it's like I want others out there. Yeah, I just in OT most plays broke down, ended up being 4 shots in the end. That's on everybody. That wasn't just on Kobe. Kobe, I felt like, was honestly the only guy that I could trust to break down his one defender and be like, all right, got us some free throws. The Bulls as a whole were pretty terrible down the stretch. It wasn't just Kobe White. It was everybody. Giddy can't break down his own defender one-on-one. Vucevic looked nowhere to be found, and I just don't trust him at this point in time. Okoro can't hold on to the ball, and Buzelis is just kind of floating for some reason if he was in there, which he was in the OT, but then in the others, like in the other, you know, in regulation when he wasn't in there for some stupid reason, like Kevin Huerter's not going anywhere with the ball. Like, it was just bad all around here. Here for a highly articulate rants. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just, I'm pissed, man. So he shot 20% till overtime. I mean, he was the only guy getting to the free throw line. I'll take the free throws. I don't really care how he's shooting overall from the field. He's got to be better overall for the field. I agree with that. But, like, he was, like, the only guy getting to the free throw line. Like, the dude basically shot, like, half of our free throws tonight, and now we took 32 free throws. So, is there a feasible way to acquire rim protector / pick and roll defending big? I mean, I know people talk about Daniel Gafford. I'm personally not for it right now. I think you just have to wait, man. Like, I genuinely believe that you're just gonna have to wait for Collins to come back, and then you have to get rid of Vooch. Like, you have to just eat this year of Vucevic unless you're gonna trade him somehow. And you have to figure out a way in the offseason, or you're gonna draft somebody. So, and here's the thing also that just pisses me off too. Like, I'm adamant that you can find value in the second round. I know some people disagree with me about this, but like, I'm adamant that you can find value. And the Bulls just, like, they just don't care about any sort of picks. Like, they don't care about any picks at all. I don't believe we have a pick next season, because I think it's part of, oh, I just closed my music, sorry. But, like, you know, like, with all these guys coming off the books, it's just, like, that's a way to get a rim-protecting big. Like, with the way that, like, free agency is looking, and, like, I don't want to spend many, like, important assets on, like, you know, trying to go and just find specifically a rim protecting big. Now I'm just like, hey, I would love a second round pick or something just to try to, you know, if someone's back there, like, hey, yeah, might as well try. I don't know. It's just the Bulls don't value that. Like, yeah, I honestly don't know. It's gonna have to require a trade most likely because there's not really a rim protecting big that's gonna be available in free agency. But I don't want to spend assets on that. And it's because we don't have that many assets. So, yeah, I'm not sure really how it's going to be possible. Like, unless you're going to, like, find a way for someone, like, to trade. Like, they'll take Vucevic and they'll send us someone back in return and we'll, you know, trade some other piece alongside it. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be rough to try to figure this part of it out. Kind of, I think he got 3 team free throws, not on his drives, as his points in a miss. Okay, you guys can fight this out. I'm not gonna fight this out, honestly, for these guys. Yeah, I'll let you guys fight this out. The P absolutely no will ultra defense after I got screened on that last Utah shot. Oh, bro. I mean, that also, like, that's not on Io. I know Io had a bad overall double overtime, but I don't know what Patrick's looking at. Like, the Bulls are in switch everything mode. Like, they're switching Vooch on the Markkanen, and Pat is, like, questioning, oh, shit, should I switch here or not? And George gets an open look out of it. That pissed me off so bad. Like, I'm like, Patrick, bro, like, what are you doing, man? Yeah, I don't need this. Pat's gotta be better. Billy Donovan not handling it. I just don't get how you're okay. You guys are still finding this out. Okay. Well, at least we'll have the first 5 games of the 2025 season. Yep, honestly, we'll take a banner, bro. First undefeated October. Oh, what an accomplishment by the Bulls, guys. Bro. I'm not getting. Okay, yeah. You can. Yeah. Like, I think everyone should be knocked for this game, honestly. Like, I don't think anyone really played, like, great, besides maybe Io. But again, like, Io had a really rough double overtime. Like, Vucevic was not really good until, like, the second half. Herter sucked for most of the night. Giddey's turnovers were terrible, and, like, yeah, he made some shots, but his turnovers were just awful. Kobe was inconsistent throughout the night, but he was the only guy getting to the free throw line. I mean, like, I feel like this is, like, honestly the only guy that I could really trust tonight. I mean, like, he had a bad overtime. Buzelis had a great start, kind of fell off near the end. But yeah, I don't, bro, this guy played 40 minutes tonight. Like, what are we doing? I have a lot of questions, man. I'm sorry. I'm just pissed right now. The loss crushed me. We got off to a false hot start like Portland that one year. I mean, it's looking like it as the further we go into this, losing streak, right? Like, and look, I'm still not gonna try to discredit this Bulls team for what they did in those first 5 games, okay? Like, the first 5 games are still the first 5 games, and, like, we were doing pretty well against some of these, like, very, very quality level opponents. But you're right now, with the way that this defense has looked, like, it has looked so bad. And here's the thing, like, this was my concern even when we were on that winning streak. Like, my biggest concern was still the defense, and it's now showing up and it's biting us in the ass because, like, now the numbers have suddenly gone back to, like, not even league average. Like, the Bulls are still getting lucky when it comes to opponents missing on wide open 3-point attempts, and we're looking at this defense and I'm like, bro, this defense is god awful. So I'm like, again, like, those first 5 wins, Giddey was insane. Like, he was like MVP in, like, the first week. We saw some, like, big step-up performances from Vucevic. Like, he played like an all-star. But it's 5 games. Like, that's not to discredit those 5 games. Like, you did well in those 5 games. It's not saying that those 5 games were a fluke. It's just saying that, hey, it's only 5 games. You need to come out and then show me moving forward that, oh, we're legit. Like, what those 5 games were, we can go out and do that again. And I understand Giddey's had to deal with a little bit of an ankle injury here, but, like, it hasn't been the same. Like, these turnovers was not what he was doing early, right? Like, the numbers are, like, all right, triple-double tonight, but much more inefficient than usual, okay? Like, Giddey was, like, by 50% after, like, 5 games. Like, he was near 50%. And he was also shooting a lot better from 3, and, he wasn't doing, like, 6 turnovers a night. So, like, triple-double, I guess, but, like, it's not as quality of a triple-double as we saw earlier. Vucevic has just been pretty bad recently. Better tonight, but still pretty overall. Like, he's not his efficiency that we need him to be at. Kobe just got back, so, like, that's not what we're looking at. But, like, I think the bench overall did pretty decent today. But the defense, guys, it has to be better. It just straight up does. Demoralizing, yeah, I agree. I expect the core is hustle, but Billy's trying to turn him into AC or Lonzo, which he simply is. And yeah, he's not a playmaker defender. He's a alright on-ball defender that can especially guard, like, some of the smaller guys. And you can kind of switch him onto some bigger guys, but he's not the playmaker defender. He's not the guy getting deflections. He's not the guy getting steals, right, as the level of Alonzo or an AC. He's just, like, he's a quality defender at best. I don't know what he's doing, honestly. It's pissing me off. What Billy's trying to put him into. Like, he's putting him into all these situations that I'm just like, that's a lot to ask from him. And again, Okoro's 6'4". It's official that he's listed 6'4". So like, yeah, he's an overall biggerish body, but I can't rely on this guy to be guarding a 7-footer like Markkanen out there. I just can't. I have a 6'10" guy that is supposed to be, all about his defense starting tonight that I think can guard Lauri Markkanen, but was not on him to start the game. And I have a 6'7" Patrick Williams on the bench and a 6'7" Julian Phillips on the bench as well. But instead, we're trying to start the 6'4" guy on him that I'm like, I don't know what he's supposed to really do. Like, I give him credit for what he's trying to do, but like it's just that's a lot to ask from this guy. It's a lot to put onto him. And meanwhile, I'm like, we have a 6'10" forward that is pretty overall athletic, has a great wingspan, that I'm like, why isn't he on him? I'm marking to start the game. It just doesn't make any sense. 6'4" guard who can't shoot on a 7-footer, who can play in and out for the entire game, so he could drop 47, your team said. Yep. Coaching malpractice, as Box said. Yeah. Crazy game, such a sad ending. This was a crazy game, but like unfortunately I wasn't like enjoying the end of this game, because I think that Billy was messing up, but also I'm looking at this game, I'm like, the Bulls should have won this one in regulation. You didn't. You failed. And again, the Bulls got lucky. Markkanen missed that free throw to help us get into overtime, right? Like, it was like, oh, the Bulls, we did everything we could just to hang on, right? No, like, Markkanen missed a free throw that really helped us go into overtime. And then in overtime, I'm just watching this team, and I'm like, I feel we should just go for the win here, and we don't. Shout out to Kobe, he made the layup, but it's just like, I feel we should have gone for the win. I'm just watching this team in overtime, and it just feels like it's like deer in the headlights. Offense slows down. We don't have enough guys to try to go and create their own shot. Buzelis for some reason isn't getting enough time or enough on-ball action. Like, it's so confusing to me, man. Crazy game. I completely agree. A double overtime game is always nuts, but I'm more so watching this game, like, not as entertained, but more so just disappointed for just the way the Bulls have played. As far as the Stanley Johnson, Andre Robertson level offensively, I'm honestly shocked whenever he scores more than 10 points. I'll give him a little bit better than Andre Robertson for his, like, he's a little bit better from 3-point range, but that's it. I agree though with like other parts, like doesn't dribble, not quality driver, sometimes offensive rebounds, and like can sort of cut at moments, but yeah. Robertson was a better cutter. I'll give Okoro a better 3-point shooter, but that's it. Robertson was also bigger than Okoro, so I don't know, man. It's frustrating as fuck. Does tonight, I know it's November, make you consider AD tree? His value is at all-time low, man. So to me, here's the thing. Even though the AD idea is like his value is at an all-time low, I still think that requires a first-round pick and us to give up some like actual valuable assets. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like I said, I said this last stream. If for some reason the Dallas Mavericks are like, they're struggling to find someone to take AD's contract because it's just so massively large, and he has like no trade value, and the Bulls are like, okay, well, we'll free up all this salary cap space for you, but you got to send us a pick in return, then yeah, I'll take Anthony Davis. But why would the Dallas Mavericks do that? Like, the Dallas Mavericks should be trying to flat out like reset, rebuild, retool everything or whatever they need to do, but they're gonna need their trade right? So whether that's, trade AD, trade Klay Thompson, trade all these other guys, trade Kyrie, like, they're not gonna be trading a pick away, right? Now that Nico Harrison's gone, at least. So for me personally, I'm not considering any sort of Anthony Davis trade, because even with AD's value at his all-time lowest, I still expect the Mavericks to be asking for some important future asset, even with his value at an all-time low. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm not gonna give you a first-round pick right now, because I mean, at least right now, like, the Bulls look like they're never gonna win again. So there's no way in hell I'm giving up one of our first-round picks. There's no way. I'll give up the Portland pick, honestly, but like, I mean, like right now, it looks like Portland's gonna make the playoffs, maybe. So, it's less valuable to me, but like, sure. But I'm not giving up anything else. Like, I'm not giving up Buzelis. I am not gonna go ahead and give you like Kobe or Io. I'm not giving you a Senge. So I think the Mavericks are gonna want someone like a Senge, like a Buzelis, like an Io or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, well, if that's what you want, then no, we're good. Do you want Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic, and Isaac Okoro? By all means, yeah, I'll do that trade. We'll get rid of those 3 guys. We'll get Anthony Davis. Sure, I'm all for that. But there's no way they're accepting that deal. But me personally, I'm not looking for it. As much as I understand that this team needs a rim protector. Anthony Davis does not want to play center, so I feel like getting Anthony Davis does not really make much sense because he's not going to even play center anyway. He's also then getting next to Anthony Davis makes no sense. Giddey needs a center that stretches the floor. Anthony Davis does not do that, and he also wants to play power forward, so it would just clog up the spacing even more. So I'm personally very much against it. But that's my opinion. Unless obviously it's like we're giving up basically nothing for him, then yeah, I'll take him for basically nothing. But that's not how this is gonna work, right? Was it Kalkbrenner and Kessler decline second round picks? For sure, yeah. Or Kessler was after Dalen Terry. Kalkbrenner was a second round pick if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. My biggest issues overall: Giddey rushing his threes when open and missing with a different shot style. Giddey just taking those threes, in my opinion, is just terrible. I don't know what he's doing. He took multiple just like in transition threes when I'm like, don't get me wrong, I think Giddey's 3-point shooting has been great to start the season, but when it comes to transition opportunities and Giddey has the ball in his hands, I want him trying to go towards the rim because that's his best opportunity to get to the basket in transition. If it's half court, it's a different story. I want Giddey pulling the 3 every time, but when it comes to transition opportunities and Giddey pulling up in transition for 3s, like that's his best opportunity to get to the rim. Like he needs to go to the rim and try to score there. I don't want him shooting 3s in those spots. Even as good as he's been from 3-point range to start the season, his best attribute has been his transition game. And so he needs to go out and just, if it's any sort of transition opportunity, try to get into the paint. If it's not there, kick it back out. But he's got to try to score in transition. He's a humongous focal point in the transition game for the Bulls, and shooting 3-point shots, like even if they go in, I'm not thrilled with the shot selection. So I just that's not good by Giddey in my opinion overall. Giddey taking the ball up too slow and team moving too slow. That's not all on Giddey, like you just said. I think it's on everybody. I think everyone was playing too slow today. Starters and bench, mostly starters, but bench included. Billy's substitutions and gassing Kobe too much in the first game back also risky. So I think that the way that they did it was fine today. It was basically like 6 minutes, Kobe comes in for 6 minutes, 6-minute rest, Kobe comes in for 6 minutes. You can maybe argue with me that I should have been in like 4-minute bursts instead. Maybe. I can understand that. But I think honestly it was okay. Now I will say this though, maybe Kobe should have only played 20 minutes today, or that should have been the plan today, right? Instead of him playing 24, maybe it should have only been 20. I was honestly kind of shocked that it was even at 24 because I was expecting like 18 or something like that. This being his first game of the season, and he hasn't played since April. But they went with 24. That's their decision. I'm not Bulls medical staff, but if you want to argue it should have been lower minutes restriction, sure, I'll give you that. The way that Billy handled it though, I think was honestly fine. I didn't have many issues with it. We'll call it there. I'll call it stats of Giddey. Efficiency is huge contrast when the ball is advanced rapidly, just flash faster as a half court as we expect. Giddey's half court this season has been pretty rough. Like even as good as he's been to start the year, his half court has been really rough. Like his half court numbers are honestly astoundingly pretty bad. It's mostly been in transition for Giddey this season. But I agree, like it has to be pushed better. It's not just him that needs to push it more, it's the guys at the run. Like Herder, for example, is a guy that has been pretty good in transition this season. He wasn't running today, so that's in everyone. No matter how the Bulls started, if they played like that, they would have won 3 games by now at least. Really, as we started, like I think the start of the game was bad until the bench came in. The second quarter was good by the Bulls. Like they got their tempo running and everything like that. But the first 5 minutes, the Bulls didn't score 10 points until the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. So I personally thought that the first 5 minutes from the starters were terrible. I was pissed off because it was just Buzelis that scored until Giddey got to the free throw line. But to me personally, the starters played bad again to start the game. Once the bench came in, they played better once the bench came in, and everything in the second quarter was good. So if you're talking about that, I agree with you, but I think just specifically the start of the game was bad by the Bulls. Just want to clarify that. as like I said, Cavs and Pistons game super winnable for sure. I know the 1B, you know, the Spurs game was a 1B masterclass, so like that was also winnable, but I understand that like there's a superstar on the other side of the floor that is just an alien, so like, okay, you know what, that one's rough, but I still think that the Donovan didn't put the Bulls in the best position to win that game either, so yeah. And Giddey was out for that one, so I'll just chalk that one up as an L, I guess, but either way, man, it's just, these games are winnable, man. I think after the next few days off, the team might trend better again, purely if they get to the pacing. Well, I mean, I would hope that 3 days off will put you in a good spot in terms of pace-wise, but we didn't do that today. And I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, obviously, so next time we're going to see maybe it's Portland. I hope to see the Bulls running faster in Portland and getting those transition opportunities because, hey, they need the transition opportunities because this team does not have enough half-court firepower to rely on their half-court game. They just don't. So the transition game has to be alive when it comes to this team. And so slowing it down, like how we saw in that third quarter, for example, which that's also a result of them fouling too much, but like we got to take advantage whenever it's possible. Last thing, Giddey rolled his ankle. He needed at least 2 games to shake it off, and that's fine. But he also was acting like, I mean, if he's out there and he's like, no minute restriction and everything, like I don't think a rolled ankle is gonna be the reason why, or recovering from rolled ankles why you have 6 turnovers tonight. Like that's avoidable even if you're not 100%. So personally, that's my criticism of Giddey. The missed shots are one thing, but the 6 turnovers is not something that I can live with. That needs to be better, and not to mention also that his defense was not good today, which is that's on everybody. And everybody's defense was terrible. Well, this game is conditioning for Kobe and Giddey ankle or something. Even if others played weak, they're keys for the team. I mean, I hope so. I just know with Kobe, it's gonna take a bit, right? And I hope that he's not too sore after this one or something like that. But yeah, we gotta get these guys running because they're the keys right now. So it's gonna be huge. The large defensive matchups were so whack. Oh, it's pissing me off, bro. Booz Williams should have had so many more minutes from Okoro. Yeah, I mean, it should be Buzelis as the main defender. Patrick Williams should have been like the other option, and Okoro maybe for a little bit. Didn't do that though, and then I would have honestly put up Julian Phillips on him. Would have just seen how it went. I think Phillips can hang around the perimeter with them. He probably would have got beaten up inside, but I can kind of live with that a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. Never thought I would say, but I would like to see more Patrick Williams. I mean, Pat did not do a good job in that last shot by Keontae George. He failed, but I mean, it's unfortunate with what we're talking about right now is because it's just like the reason why Okoro's getting all these minutes is because Patrick Williams has failed, right? Patrick Williams has failed as an overall starter in this league as the 4th overall pick. He is just better off the bench, and like the best way we're gonna get production out of him is off the bench, which that's a failure, right? That's the unfortunate reality of the situation. And so you're instead having Okoro start when he really shouldn't be starting and playing this many minutes. So I mean, yeah, like ideally you should have had more Patrick Williams minutes on Larry Markkinen tonight. But if you up his minutes too much, then what sort of level of P. Will we be getting, right? If he starts playing starter level minutes, then like, do we get bad P. Will suddenly? Are we gonna see multiple turnovers, dribbling off his foot, bad defensive possessions, not going for rebounds? Like that's the problem with Pat like extending his minutes. So I do think that Billy should have still played him, even though that like we have all these questions. But it's where we're at with Pat, unfortunately. Now, granted, again, I think Pat overall for the season has played better, and I give him a lot of props for playing better. But he has not developed by any means. Like he's just playing better compared to how he played the previous year, which was a ridiculous low. And so he's played better, but it's not like he's developed. That's the issue. So we need to see better overall development from him, unless I personally don't think we're gonna see anything else from him. But if that is the case, then so be it. But at least in my opinion, I'm gonna be still even as good as P. Will has played this season off the bench. I still call it a failure that he has not been a starter level player in this league, when he absolutely has every tool in the wheelhouse to be that. and he just hasn't been able to do that. Like Okoro to me is a very possible target to go out and take his starting spot away from. Like, sorry Okoro, like, you know, I understand he's giving 110% effort out there, but like Okoro's production is nothing, like it's not at a level of like, oh, we need him out there at all times, right? It's at a level of like it's just mid to poor production. So if Pat just played better, like there's a very real chance that he could take that starting spot. And he's played better, but he's not played to the level where we're like, oh, we need to start Patrick Williams every game right now. That's the issue with his development, and it's forces Okoro to guard Lauri Markkanen 24/7. Like that's the problem, and it's frustrating the fuck out of me. For some reason, the Bulls thought that getting Isaac Okoro was the answer when like, again, this is not to shit on Okoro, but like that was not the answer. Like he was not the answer to the small forward position that we've been trying to figure out for many years now. Like I know Senge is, you know, he's way back there, and like, you know, he'll come up he'll be here eventually, but it's not gonna be now. Yeah, I don't think Okoro was the right person to invest time and effort into, but you know, but not for one. Yes, that's the way I would put it. Yeah, this was a crazy game. It was not fun for me down the stretch of this one. I'll also hate how Billy slows down the pace in the last few minutes before it impacts how many possessions left. Well, the problem is though is that the game just slows down in general. Like I'm not gonna blame Billy for that specifically, because it's like the game really just does slow down in the last few minutes. Like even before you get to the last like 2 minutes of the game, it just slows down. Like you can watch the fourth quarter and you can just see the tempo slowly decreasing as the possessions go by. So I'm not gonna blame Billy for that one, but it's just like you gotta have something prepared when the tempo does slow down, and I don't think Billy really does. Besides run pick and roll top the key and ISO somebody. Which, if that's the case, then you gotta go and find somebody that's able to isolate effectively. Kobe seems like your best option, but like I still have questions. I don't think Iddy's gonna do it, so I don't know what it's gonna take besides maybe Buzelis finding a way. But it's pissing me off. It slowed down with like 4 minutes remaining instead of 2. Maybe the sub 2 that could maybe justify it most. See, even to me, I think the last 5 minutes are always really slow. Like if it's a high tempo game, I always think the last 5 minutes, like you can see the game slowing down still. I don't even argue at the start of the fourth quarter, it was slowing down even then. The Bulls were even at like a walk it up pace at that point. So I personally think that it's just the fourth is just different. Like you're gonna need specific guys in the fourth to, you know, take over, because everybody eats offense, the high tempo, a bunch of movement. It's so much tougher in the fourth because defenses lock in so much more. The paint opportunities are just not there in the fourth because the defenses are like, hey, no layups. So yeah, it's just how this game is. And you know, if you want to go ahead and criticize with like, you know, 4 minutes left, it was still too slow. That to me just is normal. But I mean, if I can maybe understand some of it, but I just think that no matter what in the last 5 minutes, it's just a slower game. And it's tough. Like that's the reason why I always say the first 43 minutes is like you can play a certain way, but last 5 minutes though, it's crunch time. So that's what officially is counted as a clutch game, is the last 5 minutes, and it's within 5 points or less. So I personally think it's going to slow down a lot. But if Billy's going to be, you know, trying to do this like faster tempo offense, then he's got to find a way to try to increase the tempo and on the stretch. But I think it's pretty rough. That's a hard thing to figure out. Why are we even talking about trades, Anish? I think it's just because of the Mavericks and their whole collapse and everything like that. I'm personally with you, Box, that like I think trades trying to acquire pieces that don't really set us up for the future, really, like, or long-term outlook, I think are not really good trades to look at personally. But here's the thing though, Box, like, unfortunately, I think we actually do have to talk about it in some aspects, because this front office is willing to go ahead and do some pretty ridiculous trades when it doesn't feel like the right time. Like, you know, I was wrong about the Vucevic trade. I thought it was a good trade at the time, but I mean, when you think about it, the Bulls traded 2 first-round picks when Zach LaVine was 26, Markkanen was like 23 or whatever. Like, you know, Kobe was however young he was. Like, it it was like a pretty rough time to go ahead and make that trade, right? You had a young core and you go and trade for a 31-year-old vet. Like, in essence, you can argue that with the way that the Bulls try to operate, right, that they're trying to do this, win and develop strategy, which never works, that they're going to go and try to look to add to this team to try to help them, solidify a spot, at least in the play-in. And, you have a young core that they firmly believe in, and so they could go and add, I'm not saying Anthony Davis in a sense, but they might go and look and add somebody. I'm personally against it. I don't know why the hell you would even think about trading any sort of your future assets right now if you're the Bulls, but unfortunately, that's what this front office thinks. So I'm gonna hope that they don't do it, but at least in my head, like we shouldn't be talking about like an Anthony Davis trade, but in other people's heads, but also in the eyes of the front office, like I could honestly understand a case of why we have to talk about it, because they're the front office that has pulled off a trade to get a vet starter when they had a young core going with all their draft picks. Like, it's kind of deja vu. So I'm personally against it. I'm just pointing out what we're talking, like what we've seen before, and how history has the chance to repeat itself. Do I agree? No, I do not think we should be looking to make these sort of trades, but it's very possible. He took some heat check shots that were not falling. I don't even call them heat check. I think they were just open, but I just disagree with the timing of when he shot it. If it's transition opportunities, I think he needs to go to the basket. Try to collapse the defense. Try to get into the paint. Look to score there, because that's his best opportunity, because there's no rim protector back there. But yeah. Talk about development. P. Will is heading into his sixth season, basically being the same exact player since day one. Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah. I'm not happy about it. Like the one thing he's done this season is that he shot more threes, which I'm happy about. And again, don't get me wrong. I think Patrick overall for the season has been much better compared to last season. But it's just frustrating where we're at with him still. Because of where now the Bulls are lacking in areas. It's just like, if Patrick was just better, this area would be solved right now. He's just not. The Vucevic switching on to guards was the most headache-inducing thing tonight, and yet no adjustments were made time and time again. Yeah, the Vucevic switching on to guards was like basically forced because the Bulls' defense was so bad. Like Donovan just basically decided just to do it because the guards weren't fighting through screens hard enough, and we couldn't find a way to stop the marketing either like flare screen or cross screen or rip screen action. So we were just forced to switch it, and then that puts Vucevic in the action, and he has to guard someone on the perimeter. That's like, I'm not even gonna blame Donovan for that one. Like, if you want to blame Donovan, sure, but like, to me, that was more so that the Bulls' lack of perimeter defense and the guys not fighting through screens is why Donovan decided to go in and do that, because we weren't doing that to start the game, right? We were not switching to start the game. We were trying to fight through the screens, but Donovan was just like, oh, we're not doing a good enough job, so we'll just switch it. And it puts us in a rough spot. So it once again shows that like the personnel is bad, but it's just a whole shit show altogether. Terry fell out his frame, but otherwise he's basically the same going to year 4. Terry's bad. Yeah. Enjoying going to year 3, gets even less minutes thus far. I can't even consider a rotation player. No, I mean, I think Phillips did perfectly fine today, by the way. Don't know why he only got 13 minutes. Makes no sense to me. Yeah, I mean, I understand Phillips has not been amazing, but like, I feel like I could trust him more than Terry, and he had a good game today. I don't know what the fuck Donovan's looking at, honestly, but again, it's just me. Always been a supported BD, but got down this the hardest it's ever been these past 5 games, specifically blowing the large leads. I mean, it's like large leads, like you can blame the players mostly. I'll give you that if you want to. I personally will blame Donovan a little bit, but it's just the late game decisions where I'm like, why did Vucevic come back into that Cavs game? Like, he had a horrible game going. Jalen Smith had a career best game as a Bull, and you bring back Vucevic, who just couldn't make a bucket all night. Like, that decision made no sense. Buzelis against San Antonio when they're running double big Cornet and Wemby. You don't bring back Buzelis when you need size on the floor. And Buzelis was having he was having a fine game. Like, he was honestly having like a really good third quarter. And you don't bring him back. He doesn't see like the last like 14 minutes of that game is just ridiculous, or whatever it was. It was like last 10 minutes or whatever. It just, that makes no sense. Okay. Pistons loss is like, Donovan's gonna have the guys ready, but it's also on the guys. Like, the guys just decide not to play that day. This one though, I don't know why Buzelis is not in to end the game. Okoro's on Markkanen for some stupid reason. Io should have been in over Herter, wasn't. Like, it just, I was lost, man. There's just so many decisions that it was just like, I don't know what to say. Once again, as always, it's not always on the coach, because like, it's the players need to go out and actually, you know, play. But I think we're officially at the point right now that we cannot ignore some of these decisions by Donovan. That I'm like, yo, like, again, the players need to be better down the stretch of these games, but we cannot let Donovan get away with some of these decisions that we're just like, we're all just sitting here like, what are we doing? Like, these are, to me, like, some boneheaded decisions here that don't put the Bulls in the best position to win. The whole point of this bench is that you're supposed to rely on these guys, right? And I'm seeing that when guys have good games still off the bench, we're still not going to them to finish these games. So, yeah, I don't know if it's just Donovan gets in his head, or Donovan has to like play politics or something with, like, you know, someone gets paid a certain amount of money, he's got to end the game. But I'm just like, I'm appalled by what we're seeing. Yeah, Donovan absolutely deserves blame. There's definitely some things that, sure, we can give him credit for some things, but I think that the poorer things from Donovan, the poor decisions from Donovan have stuck out more recently than the better decisions from him. So it's officially just at the point now where we're just like, we gotta see better coaching from him. Just straight up. And the blowing of the leads, like, you know, the turnovers is not Donovan, right? Like, the allowing up the opponent, like, certain players to just kind of go off, or, you know, Wembanyama getting in 2 ISO plays against Vucevic down the stretch of that game is just terrible coaching. Like, that's something that he can control. You know, if our guys turn it over, you know, from poor decisions or bad mistakes, like, that's not his fault, unless, you know, it was a bad play call. But, like, you know, there's definitely some things that is in his, like, he has some sort of effect on it, and he's failed to me. You know, Markkanen is obviously tonight, but like, Wemby getting those like ISO 3-point shots over Vucevic is like, that's just insane. Like, why are we not doubling him? And also, why is Vucevic on him in the first place? Like, hey, wouldn't Buzelis be great on Wemby instead? But instead we decided to put Vucevic on Wemby, which is just ridiculous. So yeah, it's these decisions here that we're like, we have to just call him out. And look, man, I understand a lot of people love Billy, and he is, you know, he's in the Hall of Fame for specific reasons, but these are bad decisions these past couple of games. Just bad. Few games. Last but not least, we're 11 games into the season. Noah Senge hasn't played. Yeah, it's terrible. Senge needs to play. I don't know why he was not with the Windy City tonight. The Bulls called him back up after that one Windy City game. Where he had a good game, and he didn't play tonight. So, don't get it. I don't understand what we're doing. Ironically enough, I actually think that we're going to see a Senge tomorrow, for many different reasons. But the biggest reason is that I think it's gonna be a blowout, and guys are gonna be extremely tired in the altitude and everything, and we're gonna see a Senge get some time. So, I think we'll finally see a Senge tomorrow in some sort of fashion, assuming that the Bulls are not going to be ready to play tomorrow, which, I mean, I don't expect them to win that game, because double overtime today, you lost, you're now going into Denver where it's hard to breathe, and assuming Jokic is available, like, that's just a really rough game for anybody. Don't have much faith, though, in this Bulls team to try to win that one. But with that said, I think we're going to see a Senge for not good reasons, I guess, but more so just because the Bulls are getting blown out. Teams step out of the defense as the game goes along and really lock it up in the fourth. So I don't think as the game goes along, teams step up in defense. I think in the fourth quarter specifically, in crunch time, the defense really locks up. Like when you say that as the game goes along, like that means that like the defense in the second quarter is better than the first quarter, which is like that's not always true. I think that we see defenses are sometimes worse in the third quarter compared to the first quarter, but I think in the fourth quarter specifically, I do think that defenses truly do lock up. Like you see how much that it's harder to get into the paint in the fourth quarter because defenses are like no paint. Like they'd rather you shoot from the perimeter. Which is why the mid-range shot is important in the fourth, but yeah, it's with the way that the Bulls play, with how it's everybody eats, heavy ball movement, heavy player movement. You're seeing, because defenses are so locked in, it's harder to make those passes to like find an open cutter or make a swing pass or cross court pass as you think would someone be open, but defenses are so locked in at that point that's like it's harder to get the dribble penetration to certain areas that it's not going to open up these opportunities now. So that's why the fourth is slower, because it's not like you're seeing that the offense gets mucked up and you're seeing that the player movement is not as crisp and not as clean with the way that the Bulls play, which is why I'm still adamant that you need someone to ISO effectively. I'm not going to just like sit here and say this like every stream where it's just like the Bulls need like a go-to guy, because like I had a discussion with local Bulls fan about this. It's just like it is poor overall, just like analysis by me. If I just like, well, man, the Bulls need a go-to guy. Just look at these last games, and it's like, yeah, it's true. The Bulls definitely need a go-to guy. I think that if most people, and here's the thing about this, like I also talked about this with local Bulls fan on Twitter about this, like. I bring this up because it's been brought up in my chat, it's been brought up to me on Twitter, it's brought up to me in my YouTube comments that the Bulls don't need a go-to guy. Because some people think that the Bulls have one already in Josh Giddey, or have one already in Kobe White, or that these people do not believe in we need to have a main go-to guy as an important piece to the puzzle to win, okay? Now, if for those people that are in that category that are like, oh, we don't need a go-to guy down the stretch, like that's just not necessary for us to win, I am very, very confused on what they think about basketball, because even the team that is full of depth and relied on their entire depth throughout the entire playoffs last season, they still have a go-to guy, and that his name is Tyrese Halliburton, and he knocked down however many fucking shots he knocked down in the playoffs, okay? Even that team was still like, nope, the ball goes to Tyrese Halliburton. We trust him. He's the guy down the stretch of the game. Okay, like I can't even explain to you how many times it pisses me off when I see that like Bulls fans are like, no, we don't need a go-to guy. Like the Pacers just they just did it without one. I'm like, that Halliburton was the go-to guy. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, though, if you think that Josh Giddey is good enough to be the go-to guy, I just heavily disagree. I respect your opinion, but Josh Giddey in the half court, especially in isolation situations, is just not effective. His pick and roll game is just not effective. It's just the unfortunate reality of Josh Giddey's game. He's improved to the point where I do expect him to get 20 a night, but he's just not effective enough in the half court to be the go-to guy. And we saw it today where he had an ISO opportunity and he missed 2 shots in the paint. So it's just not, to me, he's just not the guy as a go-to guy. But hey, you have every right to your opinion. I'm just explaining to you with my evidence, okay, why I do not think Giddey should be the go-to guy. Kobe is definitely more of a compelling case. The thing with Kobe, though, is just that like he goes through these runs of just inconsistency. Now, I mean, if he's gonna get to the free throw line like this, then like it definitely gives us a much better opportunity to be the go-to guy. The problem with him, though, is just that he definitely can get into these weird moments where it's like he's trying to like, get to the basket, but it's like you don't have like the athleticism or like the wingspan to like try to hit a good shot at the rim here, and you're going so fast. I do think at times that when there's a bigger defender on Kobe, like that's not like a big, for example, like he does have some troubles trying to get past that guy, or trying to find a look from that guy, or try to create some sort of separation. So he's definitely more compelling because like he definitely has the first step quickness that you need, and seems to be able to get to the free throw line and has the ability to make a pull-up jumper. It's not consistent. The pull-up jumper still needs work in his game, but like he has like in a sense like the ability with his current game, like with his shooting form and everything, like it's possible. But I still would argue that Kobe was not that. Now, again, if you want to give me like different, like if you think otherwise, that's your opinion. I respect it. I'm just telling you with what I've seen with Kobe. Like, here's my reasoning why I'm not for it. So that's just to just clear this up about like, you know, go-to guy, because like I will admit that it is like probably bad analysis by me, but at the same time, it's like it's more so me trying to push back on these people that are saying like we don't need one. And I'm like, okay, you're saying that for two different reasons. It's either that you think that we have a go-to guy already, which I would completely disagree with, but or the other option is that you think that a go-to guy is just not necessary. And I'm like, what the hell have you been watching? I just, when you look at these past runs for all these teams, okay, like we can go and list all the recent champions, but you can even go back to even way back in history. And I'm like, every team has a go-to guy, and maybe the one team that you could argue is like the Detroit Pistons in 2004, but like, or sorry, was it 03 or 4? I don't remember, but it was 04. But either way, it's like, you know, Chauncey Billups is like a capable, you know, guy. I just, to me, like, even the San Antonio Spurs that a lot of people are trying to say that the Bulls trying to replicate in a sense of like, you know, 2014 Spurs or whatever, like, you still have Tim Duncan, you still have Tony Parker, and Kawhi Leonard became a Finals MVP in that series. Like, I just don't understand the thought process at all. Like, most recent champions, Boston Celtics, they had two guys that they go to, right? Like, it's just, that's just what I'm looking at, personally. So, we all have our, you know, our opinions and everything, but, or sorry, OKC is the most recent one, sorry, then Boston, and then it's, you know, then Denver, sorry, I forgot OKC championship, but, like, even OKC, SGA is the go-to guy. Denver, it's Jokic. Warriors, it's Curry. Like, we can just keep going. It's just, like, I don't know what to say. I'm overall frustrated with just how Bulls fans think about that, but moving past that, okay, if the Bulls are not going to be running, you know, like having a guy that has the ability to ISO effectively against a mismatch, or is going to be looking to take advantage of his defender one-on-one, or via pick and roll, then there's going to have to be some simpler plays the Bulls are going to have to run. But it's still going to have to be reliant on some of these guys to like make some good decisions and make some shots. But, you know, some options, for example, is just like simple, just floppy action just to get someone just an opportunity with the basketball on the move. Like, if you can get Kobe on like a floppy action, coming off of like double down screen or double pin downs or something like that could be an option. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't really know what to do with Giddey besides like have him be a screener. I think Giddey's just best thing in the half court down the stretch of a game, just being a shooter or like a also secondary ball handler in a sense. I think Buzelis needs to be, if he's in the game, he should be more involved. But I think like your best options are going to be like, obviously pick and roll is like what I think you should be running. But if you're going to try to go away from that sort of stuff, then it's going to be like pin downs for like Kobe or something like that. Or you're going to have to like run like some sort of like, you're going to have to like throw the ball to like Giddey in like the high post or something, and like run like these back screens or something just to get some overall player movement. It's still gonna be reliant on like, you know, Giddey being a threat from that spot on the floor, and guys, you know, effectively being threats around the floor, even if it's just like simple player movement. But maybe that's just what we gotta do. But again, like defenses just truly do lock in. Like defenses heavily lock in these moments that it's hard for us to even like kind of get into those sort of spots, because you see the perimeter defenders are like so up into these guys' faces in those moments to try to put ball pressure, right? They're gonna really try to junk up these guys at the, like, you know, near the half court, because they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? We dare you to try to dribble around us right now. We're gonna be in your face, you know, right when you get like past like half court to try to force a turnover in like these moments. So, especially with the game being a lot slower, it's going to be easier for them to kind of gamble those moments. So I'm just like, it's going to have to come down to some of these guys just maturing into those, being that sort of guy to take the ball and, you know, create some sort of advantage. But if it's not going to be that, then it's going to have to be through some more simpler actions that can maybe create some opportunities for some of these people, some of these like main scorers. Like, I'm not personally gonna be running anything for Isaac Okoro, obviously, down the stretch. Like, I don't want him really involved. But if it's not gonna be him, or if it's not gonna be like the team overall offense, then we're gonna have to like get our main guys, right? Like Kobe and Giddey, like in some sort of different actions. Me personally, honestly, for what I saw today, like I think running the Giddey Kobe White pick and roll can actually be like a legitimate option. That's simple enough. It's not like you're hoping that like in that sort of action with the Kobe being like a slip screener, you're hoping that's going to create some sort of advantage, right? So you're not relying on someone to create an ISO advantage, but you're relying on that action to try to create an advantage off of that. Maybe that creates a driving advantage for Giddey, who has the basketball, or if, you know, two people go with Giddey, that's going to open up Kobe for a shot. Like, that's an option. I think that's honestly something that you can maybe look to. And then you can maybe add onto it, you know, maybe instead of it just being just only Kobe, you bring two screeners all of a sudden. And it's still going to rely on, like, two guys sitting in the corners, but you just have, like, you know, these, like, little simple actions at the top that aren't that complicated, that you hope to see, like, the defense trying to make a mistake or something off of it. So, I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. I know Billy has specific plays that I've been seeing for many, many years now down the stretch of games that, you know, he likes to run, but it's going to either be, again, these guys got to mature quickly, or Billy's going to have to find a way to get more creative. But make sure it's not going to be too creative that we're going to be turning it over down the stretch of game. So, yeah. Those are always the same, not superstar, no playoff wins. I mean, I'm with you, Chief, but like, if you ask many people, right, like, it's just, you know, they think that that's not the case, right? Also, we clearly have no direction. We are not rebuilding. We are not developing. I mean, we have a direction, arguably, Box. I just completely disagree with it, right? It's that we are investing into young players with experience, right, and trying to win with them, okay? That's our direction. Now, you can argue with me that that's not a direction, and I would agree with you. I don't really think it's a good direction at all, if we even consider it a direction, okay? I personally don't think it's much of a direction. I don't really know what we're doing. But I think that's, you know, I want to make it clear that, like, it's not like we're just, you know, bringing just a bunch of guys on the roster. It's that we're investing into young players with experience, which is just stupid, in my opinion. I don't know why we're doing that. And hoping to win with it. That's our direction. So, you know, that's what AK says at the end of the day. So, trades, right? Like, young players with experience. Like, I honestly think that's not a bad thing to look at, because the front office has invested into those players, if you want to talk about trades. So, don't want AD due to his age and injury. Josh, too many problems. Yeah, Zion in his office would be something to get through, and lots would be fun. I mean, Zion, like, I think would be a better option than Anthony Davis, but I'm still concerned with his injury history. He unfortunately would also muck up the Bulls offense because he doesn't have much of a perimeter game, and he has to play power forward, and he doesn't play center. So I think the fit also just doesn't work, personally. So, not personally against it. Front office has multiple chances to retool the roster, but chose to stand pat. Oh, I mean, they've had plenty of chances, and they had plenty of chances to get more in return for what they traded out, but they didn't. So here we are. I agree with the Zion take, but I'll settle for Trey or Herb. I mean, if we could get Trey Murphy or Herb Jones, then I mean that's a different story. It matters how much we're giving up. Those players are definitely some, like, you know, players I'm more intrigued by, but I think personally that we're going to be seeing those players shipped out to contenders and not, you know, shipped out to a Bulls team that's just trying to make the playoffs right now or play in tournament. Trey Murphy is definitely interesting. Like, he definitely intrigues me. But I mean, again, it matters how much I'm giving up here. Like, I don't know if I want to really give up, like, many of our picks right now. But, you know, he is definitely intriguing. Herb Jones is more so of a contender type of guy. He's less important for me on this roster, personally. I just switched off a podcast defending Billy. You can guess which one. Honestly, I don't know if I can guess. I can guess multiple, so that's the issue personally for me. Ryan, like, could you tell me who it is, honestly? Because, like, I can name, like, off the top of my head that I'm just like, I can guess many podcasts that are defending Billy right now. I don't know about if I can guess the singular one, but let me know. First and foremost is Just Another Year. His podcast, just like he's been a major Billy defender recently. I don't know about Bull's Lead. I don't know if Bull's Lead is doing the podcast, but he's a big Billy defender. Let's see here. I think CHGO has been a pretty massive Billy defender, but I could be wrong about that one. So those are just three. It'd be nice as an added 18-point per game scorer, could play both forward spots. Yeah, I think Trey Murphy is like very, very intriguing. And it matters how much I'm giving up for him though. Are Bulls fans defending Billy? Let's entertain the trade for AD. Then what? No, I agree though, Box. Like I completely. The AD trade makes no sense to me because it's like you're giving up so many assets for it, assuming. And it's not even, to me, Anthony Davis is not even a superstar. Like, he's a guy that needs to be set up. Like, he's not a guy that is going to go and create his own shot. Like, he's a guy that has to be kind of set up for everything. And so, like, I understand if he's healthy, like, he's arguably all NBA. But I don't know if we're going to ever see that again from him. And that's really concerning to me. Then not to mention then like how much money we're paying him. So they'll probably ask for Vooch, Buzelis, and Io at minimum. AD hates playing the 5, and Billy will not make him play the 5 if he wants to stay at the 4. So where does it leave us at? Oh no, I agree. Like, here's the thing. Like, everyone's like talking about Vucevic being put into the Anthony Davis trade. And I'm just like, I think Zach Collins is actually probably more likely, just because like if you're gonna make a Anthony Davis trade, you're gonna want a center that stretches the floor. And so we're going to still have Vooch here as our center, and Anthony Davis will be our power forward, I guess. So I'm personally very much against that idea. I do not want that. Billy and roster construction can both be problems. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Oh, yeah, for sure. I've always said this, guys. Many things can be true at the same time. That's always been one of my things, okay? Yeah, Ryan, you're like, that right there is so important when it comes to this, because it's just like, there are so many things when it comes to this Bull squad that it's like everyone's like, oh well, if you blame this then you gotta blame this. I'm like, bro, there are so many things that can be true. And like, for example, my biggest one I've always said is that two things can be true. Jerry Reinsdorf is a absolutely horrible owner, right, and is just ridiculously terrible as an owner, especially as a Chicago Bulls owner, okay? But Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley have been given enough to make a better team than what they put out there, okay? They've been given plenty, okay? Many teams are not allowed to go into the luxury tax, and they still go out and make good teams, okay? Like, there have been many squads that have gone to the finals and are not in the luxury tax, and they're very quality, right? Again, no luxury tax for them. And so, yeah, the Reinsdorfs are stupid as fuck for not allowing us to go into the luxury tax, but Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley have been given plenty to try to make a good squad, and they failed to do so. So, like, I just, yeah, two things can definitely be true. Many things can also be true at once. Like, Billy needs to be under absolute fire for what the absolute fuck he did today under his coaching decisions, which were just absolutely terrible on all ends. But the roster's also flawed as fuck because it doesn't seem like we have a quality small forward that can guard a small forward out there. That's the issue, right? Like, it's too guard heavy. We have too many smaller guys on the roster. And we have 3 centers, and one of them's currently out. There's no rim protection, and the perimeter defense has been pretty poor. So, like, yeah, there's definitely roster construction issues. But with that being said, I do think that Billy absolutely deserves a lot of criticism. Joakim Noah is the starting center on those Gator title teams, and he hasn't said anything about Billy since he became coach. Joakim Noah has talked about Billy, I think, honestly, to the public, and I think he said that he loves Billy. So I could be wrong about that, but I think Joakim Noah has said that. But correct me if I'm wrong. We won't be able to make it work. We don't have the players. We don't have the picks. We definitely won't have the cap space to sign anyone significant in free agency. Yeah, it's bad. I also tried to rob a team to get rid of AD. He's just not worth it. I agree. Yeah. Like, look, bro, I had maybe a little bit of faith if Nico Harrison was there that we can like pull like a fast one against the Mavs and be like, yo, hey, we'll trade us a first round pick or something, and like we'll trade you like all these expirings. That's not gonna happen though now. Like there's no way they're gonna mess up 2 trades or 2 massive deals now. There's just no way. They're gonna try to get as much as they can. If they're gonna trade Anthony Davis, which is still an if, that if they're going to trade him, they're going to do anything in their willpower to try to get as much possible in return for him, because they messed up the Luka deal. So they're not going to mess up 2 deals. It's all about who's ready for the moment, who's scared of the moment in the fourth. No, I agree. But I think that we have to also enable these guys to be prepared to do these things, or to put them in the right spots to be enabled in the fourth. So as much as we want Montes to be the go-to guy, I think it's going to be Kobe White. Oh, I think it's to be Kobe and Giddey for sure, especially this season for sure. Now moving forward, I think it should be different, but for now, for this season, it's gonna definitely be Kobe and Giddey, and I'm okay with that. But I'm also just saying that these guys are gonna have to improve when it comes to being that sort of level of a guy, right? The people saying superstars aren't necessary have the yeah, I mean, bro, it's just. This is what I'm looking at, and I don't know why people just don't want to recognize it. So Montes has the mindset, but his consistency so far this season has not been there. I agree, and I think Montes' handles are not trustworthy enough to be handling down the stretch right now. So with that being the case, then for now he's not going to be the guy, which is fine. But I want him out there still. I want him still playing in the fourth quarter. Kobe just needs to recognize when the refs aren't calling fouls. Noticed that in the playing game last season. So here's the thing. I think that driving at the end of a game is always like one of your worst decisions. Like I'm talking like, last shot type of stuff. So, Kobe driving to get the layup to send it into double overtime, and he made it. Like, that's great. He arguably got fouled in that play from Markkanen. But it's just like, let's say Kobe didn't make the shot. I don't think the officials call the foul. Like they'll call it like once in a blue moon, but to me, driving is just, it's basically asking for you to miss the shot, because defenses are heavily they're so heavily on protecting the paint that they'll do anything to stop a layup, including foul. And I just don't think the officials blow the whistle as consistently down the stretch of games. So yeah, I do think Kobe needs to recognize that for sure. He's gonna have to recognize hey, if it's this moment in time and officials haven't really called fouls for us all game, driving now is not going to change that, right? So he's going to have to, take the proper shots when it's the proper time. Yeah. Can't really be consistent when he really isn't even clear. Sometimes he's a top 3 option, other times he's a 6th. Oh, I mean, with Buzelis, yeah, it's a problem. He should be solidified as just a starter. And he's right now, I don't even know what we're looking at sometimes, some nights. Some nights he only plays 20 minutes a game, which is problematic. If you watch the last few games, I think we don't need a go-to guy. You might not know ball. I mean, hey, bro, that's their opinion. I'm not going to say that they don't know ball, but that's just their opinion, and that's for them. For me, though, it's very different. Yeah. To me, it's very, very different in my books. Billy is in over his head. Coaching a team without stars must be very difficult for him, considering how easy he had it with both Gators and OKC. I definitely think with Billy that you can definitely tell that he's always had guys to kind of go to in his coaching tenure, for sure. In Oklahoma City, it was always, if you didn't watch those games, which I watched a lot of OKC games because I was such a fan of Westbrook, but when he was in OKC, he always had either Durant for 1 year, but he always had Westbrook, and Westbrook in his MVP season was one of the most clutch players in the league that year. And then even when Westbrook was traded, he had Chris Paul and SGA over there. He had many options. Obviously, then he comes here, and when he was here, he's had DeRozan, and Levine in some sense. Levine in his first All-Star season was very good in the fourth, but he's always had guys. But now it's officially we no longer have that sort of very clear cut he's the guy. It's probably gonna be Kobe. I honestly think it will be Kobe down the stretch here, and that's fine. He's just gonna have to prove to us that he's up for the task, and I'm looking forward to seeing that challenge from him. But if it's not really clear cut, then like I said, it's gonna have to be a lot of different actions to try to get some better overall player movement, ball movement. To make some things a little bit more simpler down the stretch for these players to convert. So, over Pistons were an anomaly, but still as superstar defensive players. Oh yeah. 95 Warriors and 94 Rockets were considered one-man shows who won titles, but those one-man shows averaged 25 plus those seasons, right? Yeah. Blackhawks ripped off the Band-Aid. Now they look like they're a season or two off from being elite. Oh, really? I'm not aware what the Blackhawks are doing, but I'm sorry. CHGO had to turn it off. Makes sense. Okay, yeah. Honestly, who's the biggest Billy defender on there? Is it Matt? I'm not sure. The thing that irritates me is the East is down enough this year that a better team gets to top 4. Look at Atlanta, Toronto, for example. Oh, yeah. I mean, the East is so open. Like, these guys, like, you know, we were talking about these, you know, we beat the Atlanta Hawks, for example. Like, since Trae Young's been out, they've been better recently, so it's just crazy. But, like, it's for the Bulls to take. Like, even Orlando's not even up here right now, and it's like, yo, you can be in this mix, and you've lost some very winnable games recently that you're not in this mix right now, when you could definitely be up here. I don't think Milwaukee's played, like, I mean, they got off to, like, a decent start, but, like, they haven't played their best ball recently. Philly is missing Embiid. Like, they've been pretty inconsistent with the whole Embiid stuff, and, like, Maxey is doing a lot, but he can't do everything. The Raptors have had some nice wins, I won't lie. They've actually done a pretty decent job. They had a nice win over Cleveland the other day. But then, like, you still have all these guys up top that I'm just like, yo, like, you know, the Pistons, Knicks, and Cavs. We expected those teams to be up top. You know, it took a little bit for the Pistons, but, you know, they're on their way now. They've been incredible. But, like, the Heat, for example, like, they haven't had the best start, but, like, I mean, Norman Powell is averaging, like, 25 a game, and the Heat have, like, the best offense in the league. Boston, you know, they're okay. They're still, like, an okay-ish team. So, like, right now, Boston and us are tied with Orlando. So, I think we lose the next game, so I think we're officially going to be under 500, which is insane to say. After a 5-game winning streak to start the season, we're going to be under 500 in 13 games in. Okay, like, I personally believe that we will be losing that Denver game tomorrow, I'm not going to blame many people for that because of just the current circumstances. It's almost like a scheduled L, but either way, though, you should have won tonight. So I'm going to blame the Bulls 100% for losing tonight. You should have won tonight. This was a very winnable game, but because you lost tonight in double overtime, I do not expect us to win tomorrow. And so if you end up losing tomorrow, we will then be, because of what we've done so far, we will then be under 500 in 13 games after starting the season 5-0. Like, just understand that for a second. Like, when you start the season 5-0, like, if you're gonna hit 500, it better be farther in than what we've done so far. We've hit 500 12 games in, and we started the season 5-0, and now we're gonna be talking about us being potentially under 500 after tomorrow. Is just ludicrous to me. This shows, man, that, like, you can't, like, the season doesn't end in October. You gotta come out and bring it every night. It's not gonna be easy wins just because now you've beaten some decent teams. Okay, like, the Magic have showed that they're probably not good, and that Pistons win, like, it's looking to be kind of like it was just a fluke in a sense. Again, I'm not gonna say it was a fluke, but it, you know, the Pistons very clearly looked like an actual NBA team and they're actual contender right now. But then you go and lose to the G League team, so, like, you know, your win just gets negated on opening night. And, you know, Atlanta, legitimate win. Like, these are, like, legit wins that you got, but you gotta still bring it every night. Like, you cannot just be like, oh, we're better than everyone else now. We can just turn it out whenever. So, Billy started his career with KD, Westbrook, then Pete. Oh yeah, Paul George. Oh my God, Paul George was also, his MVP season was, like, he was insane in the clutch that season. Yeah. Yeah. Billy's always had somebody, so it's definitely gonna test him. Yeah. Even his last season, he had CP3. Yeah, he had CP3, and Shea was also, like, becoming a very solid player at that point. Yeah, and then again, he comes here and he had Levine, and he had then DeRozan. So. It's one thing to have guys already established, and it's another to try to create the guy. Yeah. Surprisingly, it's Matt. It makes no sense. Huh. I don't know then. I honestly, Matt's been all over the place with some of his takes. Like, I mean, first and foremost, like, I was wrong about Giddey, right? He's proven me wrong. I never thought he'd be, like, a guy that averaged 20 points per game. Never thought he would be able to do that, and he's proven me wrong. And, you know, like, I was with Matt with some of the Giddey criticism he had, but he also was getting to the point of with Giddey, it was like absolute hate on Giddey. It was getting bothersome to me because it's just like, I never want anyone to fail. I'm not ever hating on any of these guys. I think criticism is one thing. I think hating is another. But yeah, Matt's kind of all over the place when it comes to his bull stuff. I won't lie, that Pistons, I will say this though, that Pistons loss made me almost go on like the full out hate arc, and I mean that in like a hyperbole sense, because it's just like, if you're not winning that game against the Pistons, which again, like, it was just a horrible loss, and I try to give this Bulls team some grace about it, but I'm not gonna do that. Like, that's just an unacceptable L. But like, the whole point of this Bulls team is depth, and then you lose to the Pistons third stringers and G League's team. It's just like, I don't know what to say. Like, your depth is bad against, you know, someone else's third stringers. Like, I don't even know what to tell you at this point, which means that, like, what Box is bringing up in today's chat, it's just like, we are actually directionless at this point, because if you're trying to like sell us on the whole, like, oh, our depth is gonna carry us, okay, like, that we should be winning that Pistons game easily. We should be. It just in general, we should be winning that Pistons game. You should be winning tonight. The Utah Jazz are not a contender in the Western Conference. They're an alright team, but you should be winning tonight if your depth's supposed to be carrying you. And this was a double overtime game where the Jazz are, you know, they're playing their guys a lot of minutes. Larry Markkinen had the most minutes played out of anybody tonight, okay? Keontae George was, you know, had more minutes played than anyone on the Bulls tonight. And so if there's anybody that should be tired, it should be the Utah Jazz tonight. But in the end, it looked like the Bulls were more tired than the Jazz. So I just, like, this whole idea that it's going to be the depth is going to be carrying us moving forward, like, it really makes me think that we're directionless. Again, the direction is young players with experience, and we're going to try to win. I hate it. I fully disagree with it. I've been adamant that we do not have enough assets to either try to put ourselves in a retool situation or to try to just rebuild. But here we are. So, you know, it's important that these guys play well, for multiple reasons, not just to get this team into a better spot, but to potentially up trade value. But right now, man, like, it's rough. It's rough right now. And unfortunately, it's a rough patch, but there's nothing, at least in my opinion right now, that's going to ever show me, like, oh, the Bulls will turn around. Like, right now, the defense has consistently been bad, and the defense was consistently bad even in October, in my opinion, but the three-point shots just weren't going down. So I think that we're in for a long haul here of, like, this is going to be rough. Unless the offense is going to find a way to suddenly spark themselves up to being, like, back where they were at the start of the season. You know, this doesn't count because of just, we have to get rid of this previous game here because of 150 points is ridiculous. But, like, yeah, there's a long ways to go here for this Bulls team. Like, we got to figure some shit out. I just want to see this because, like, you know, 147 points tonight is not, yeah, okay. So this got heavily increased tonight due to the Bulls going double overtime. So, you know, this is where we're at. If you're wondering, I'll just go to November just so you just to look at this, okay? And then, so this, again, this is going to include tonight. And so even with tonight being added, okay, like, we're 1-5 here, clearly. But no, that's actually not, that does not include tonight. Okay. All right, let's reset this. Okay. Okay, so this includes tonight. So 119 points per game, and we saw before that it was down here at 118. Okay, the Bulls' offense just has not been as good as it was in October. The Bulls were up here, okay, in October. So unless the Bulls are gonna find a way to consistently get back up there, like, I don't really know what to say. The defense, though, and this is the big stat that I'm gonna be just showing here, okay? Because, like, I know that a lot of people are trying to talk about, like, how the defense was, like, doing great and everything like that. It wasn't, because the paint defense was still very poor. But this is what was happening, okay? So to show you what's going on, and this does not include tonight because of these stats don't get updated until much later. But when it came to the Bulls, and this is just for heading into tonight for the season, okay? Opponents were shooting on wide open 3-point looks against us, only shooting 36%, okay? That's in and of itself is low because like league average is basically 39 to 40% on this sort of stuff, and this we're talking about wide open, not even just open, okay? Now let me show you what happens when I go to October, okay? And this is part of my recent article that I just wrote. But when I go to October and show you guys how the Bulls were getting lucky in a sense, and again, I don't want to just always say lucky because like the guys were fighting, but Kings were shooting 29% from 3-point range in October against us on wide open shots, okay? And I'm even going to show you guys this, where this is what was happening. That includes the Knicks game when the Knicks made 18 threes against us, okay? But before that Knicks game, okay, and I can even go before that Sacramento Kings game where there were some threes that went down. But before that next game, they were shooting 27% against us. Before that Kings game, which if we go here, so like it's just the first 3 games of the season, like opponents were not shooting well at all. Or I guess it was the Atlanta Hawks team, my bad. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how you did this. Here. Basically, in the first 2 games of the season, which is this, the Bulls' opponents shot 15% from 3, okay? To now just show you what has changed now, again, these are wide open 3-point shots. This is not like just in general 3-point shots. It's just wide open 3-point looks, okay? What's happened now, okay, and again, this does not include tonight. Whoops, that's not it. Fine, reload. When it comes to this month, okay, it is very different. Opponents are now shooting 40% from wide open 3-point looks. This is the problem. Like the Bulls were relying on this number being low, because the problem is that we still continue to give up too many points in the paint. And so I'm gonna go ahead and shamelessly plug my own article here, but like I want to just bring up all these points here of like, hey, this is before tonight, by the way. Again, this is all before tonight, but opponents are shooting heading into tonight 40.2% on wide open threes. This was 29.7% in October, okay? It was much worse in the first 2 games of the season, okay? But we are still having issues with covering up the paint, okay? The Bulls heading into tonight continue to give up the most amount of restricted area field goal attempts per game, and this, like in October, this was higher, okay, compared to November. I don't know what it's going to change to after tonight, but even this number is still the most amount of restricted field goal attempts given up per game, okay? That's shots at the rim. We give up the most amount of shots at the rim per game, okay? That's not good defense. I don't care if you have a great shot blocker, which we don't, but it's not good defense. You're allowing guys to get layups, okay? Layups and dunks. That's not going to translate to good defense, and the Bulls continue to have struggles protecting the paint. Add on top of that the Bulls are trying to like run these guys off the 3-point line, and you know, give them credit in a sense, because you can see here, like the Bulls are trying to give up as many, or trying to give up at the least amount of wide open 3-point looks. Okay, like that's like they're trying to run these guys off the line, but you can't rely on this number to be this like low, because you're giving up too many points in the paint. If you're giving up so many points in the paint, which is part of my article, you're relying on that 3-point percentage to be low from the opponents. It's not going to work, okay? This Bulls team needs to find a way to protect the paint better. You need to find a way to stop giving up as many points in the paint. Now, to give them some credit, okay, I'll show you what they've done. Heading into tonight, they were doing a little bit better, but it still needs to find a way to improve. And so heading into tonight, I don't know if it's changed after tonight. Okay, it's back to being bad after tonight, but they were ranked 20th heading into tonight, and you know, these numbers change consistently, but it was still over 50 points in the paint given up per game. It was 52, okay? Now it's up to here again, so we're back up to we're giving up a significant, we're near the top of giving up the most amount of points in the paint per game in the month of November. So for this, sorry, that's for the season. My bad. That's for the season. That's That's even with a little bit of a better November. Okay, so it's up to 53.4 in the month of November, which is still bad. Like, this is still too high. This has to get better. It's the only way for this Bulls team to figure out defensively and obviously stop fouling. But if we're just going to continue to just give up all these points, it's not going to translate to wins. They need to find a way to figure this out. Philly lost to the same Pistons team to the Bulls also made me feel not so bad. So I did say, like, I did bring that up earlier, like, hey, yeah, I gave the Bulls maybe a little bit of grace because they lost to that same Pistons squad. Now the Pistons had Isaiah Stewart that day. When the Bulls faced them, they did not have Isaiah Stewart. So they had one more guy, but it was basically everyone else was out. But still though, like, I more chalked it up as that the 76ers played terrible, and the 76ers also lost Kelly Oubre in the middle, he didn't play that many minutes in that one. So like they dealt with that injury in the middle of that game. So, you know, there's going to be I'll give some grace to both those teams for injuries. You know, Giddey was out for that one. But still, like, I just think it's an unacceptable loss from both teams, honestly. I think Philly should have won that game as well. But yeah, it is what it is. Bulls lose tomorrow, and then we talk, hey, remember when we were above 500? It's bro, we're not even at a month into the season at this point. Like, the October 21st was the start of the season, and we're not even a month in, and we started 5-0. We're talking about, oh yeah, remember we were over 500? Like, one Kobe said till tomorrow, really bad, but we lost to Utah, and no Kobe for Denver tomorrow. It's brutal. Yeah. Remembers. Florida Paul Reed plays as of late makes Stewart expendable a bit. I mean, I like Isaiah Stewart. I think they're gonna keep him though. I think they just signed him to a contract, by the way, so I don't know if he's really expendable, but I like him. Most people actually hate Giddey because of the drama with the 17-year-old. I swear, most of his haters don't have legit basketball-related reason to actually just like it, break him down. I mean, like, yeah, I was critical of him a lot because of lack of the ability to, you know, pull up game. 3-point percentage was inconsistent. Defense was, you know, inconsistent. If you're hating for him for that off-court stuff, like, I mean, like, I'm here to talk basketball, right? But I mean, I was criticizing him for his overall game. Like, you know, he wasn't finishing well at the hoop. He was inconsistent from 3-point range. You know, too many turnovers for you know, not as much point production. And you know, the defense was inconsistent. So he's you know, fixed a lot of things, right? 3-point percentage is fixed for the most part, it seems like, on catch and shoots, right? The pull-up game is still not fixed. Like, Giddey's, unfortunately, his overall stats when it still comes to like pull-up game is still pretty rough. This is also an issue if you're wondering. Where is he? Like, this is like terrible for a pick and roll ball handler. Now I understand these numbers aren't exactly the best, but like this is bad. Like, I also being down here, this is also bad. These guys got to be better when it comes to pick and roll opportunities. This is not good from Giddey. He's shooting 32% on pick and roll opportunities. Let's see. Am I able to? There is. I know it's on here. Sorry, give me 1 second. I want to find pull up. Is it under this maybe? This is. Nope, that's not how we. It's tracking. Okay, it's tracking. Got it. Okay, pull up shooting. Let's look at this number. So I know this has been better for Giddey. This has gotten better. It's mostly though like wide open 3-point shots though. Let's see. Okay. 35. Okay, yeah. So 3-point percentage is all right. Overall field goal percentage though for pull-ups for Giddey is this is terrible. Okay, I did not realize it was this low. This needs to get better. Yeah, pull-up. This is still an issue with me when it comes to Giddey overall. It's just that the pull-up percentages are terrible for him. This has to get figured out. He might never get it figured out, and that's fine. Like, he's proven to me enough that he's a very quality level player, even without like a pull-up game. His 3-point percentage off catch and shoots are just, you know, it's good enough for me, and he rebounds and, you know, he passes it well. The does transition effectively enough to, I'm like, yeah, he's still a quality player even without a pull-up game. But in terms of being the main ball handler, it's going to be a different story. Here's Giddey on catch and shoots, 47% from 3-point range and 52% overall from the field, which is great. Like that, this is very good from Giddey. This is a much more improved compared to what we saw in previous seasons. Yeah, this number is fantastic. So catch and shoot threes, you know, we're looking great when it comes to Josh Giddey. Depth of carry as well, riding a 10-man rotation with 3 guys getting 15 minutes or less and 3 DMPs a 58-minute game is wild. Oh, bro, it's honestly a terrible look, right? I can see depth of carry just becoming a new model, replacing continuity or worse, adding to it. It probably is honestly already has replaced continuity. You can argue that the Bulls got off to a good start because of continuity, right? And I kind of made that joke early on in the season, was like, hey, look, Bulls are off to a great start because of continuity. So, yeah. The depth will carry us to the competitive continuity there. Yep, there we go. We got it. We got it there, Box. Yeah. We may be 28 and 54, but we are continuously competitive. Yeah. What's going on, Tarot King? Sorry about, I don't know why your names all changed, and I hate it. I want to go back to the seeing all your names. I don't like the ats, but yeah. Good on y'all. Try to be realistic while I say being a fan. I also kind of see myself as a Billy defender. I will say while he is not the problem, his rotations in the fourth quarters have not been good. It's his rotations for me have not been good, but also his decisions like of game plan, right? Like, why are we putting Okoro on Markkanen? That doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get it. We have Buzelis, we have Patrick Williams. Why is Okoro on Markkanen? I don't get it personally. Yeah, I mean, look, I appreciate that a lot from you, Thomas Banks, because it's just like, I think this is one of those moments, at least in my opinion, where I'm like, bro, like, you might be a Billy defender. I've never been personally a Billy defender, but you're at least admitting that, like, hey, these last couple of decisions have been bad. And that's what I care about the most. It's just like, these are important moments for us to talk about of like, yo, like, we can be like Billy defenders in a sense, or, you know, we defend certain players, but when you know, someone does something bad, like, we have to just admit it. Like, I was a Giddey criticizer, and he's been playing, you know, overall pretty well, and, you know, I've changed my tune on him. Like, it's important. Like, we have to be aware that, like, hey, Billy has been bad these last games. Like, you know, the one throughout that Bucks game, sure, I didn't like some decisions in that Bucks game. The Cavs game made no sense, right? I don't understand that Cavs game. Jalen Smith should have ended the game, didn't decide to do that. Should have doubled Wembanyama, and Vucevic should not be guarding Wemby, but, you know, but also Buzelis needs to close the game. I don't get that either. Pistons L is, if you want to blame the Pistons L on the players, sure, but it's also been a consistent theme with the Chicago Bulls that they've played down a competition since Billy Donovan has been here, and it's been through many different rosters. So I don't know what you want to call that, but I think that also you need to look at Billy in some sort of sense because of how the Bulls have played down in the competition when he's been here. And then today, I mean, the rotations don't make sense today, bro. It's just terrible. We watched your reaction stream to the Luka Doncic trade the other day. That was so entertaining. That was a very fun stream for me. I'm glad you found entertainment through that, but yeah, bro, that I'm still in disbelief to this day from that trade. Like, I remember him saying he doesn't mind riding the hot hand. However, multiple times the hot hand has been a bench player that he sits the last 8 minutes of each game. Yeah, Jalen Smith against the Cavs, like, perfect from the field, best game as a Bull, 18 and 11 in 18 minutes. Doesn't play the last 9 minutes of the game. Okay, it's not even just the fact that he didn't end the game. He didn't play for the last 9 minutes of that Cavs game. Like, why? I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense. Remember when the league vetoed the CP3 trade to the Lakers? Yeah, I do. Okay, let's give the nachos now. 99% of that's exactly what happened. I mean, bro, I'm never for, like, you know, talk about any, like, sort of conspiracies, but I mean, bro. Yeah, it honestly, it's a terrible look for the league in a sense, but I'm not in on the conspiracies, like, you know, saying that the lottery's rigged. I don't believe it, like, but yeah, I mean, there's no way they're gonna veto that trade for sure. Like, a superstar is going to LA, like, they're not vetoing that, especially with LeBron on the verge of retirement. Like, they're not going to veto it. There's no way. Also agree, it feels like he's tried to replicate Caruso with Okoro, and it played out exactly how we thought it would. Oh, for sure. Yeah, Caruso is so insanely good because he can guard bigger guys, right? Like, we would put Caruso on Durant, and like he would like find a way to be effective. Not stop him, but I'm just saying, like, you'd be able to put Caruso on guys like Julius Randle in a sense. Like, he'll still find a way to like kind of find an advantage defensively. Okoro is not that. Like, Caruso is insane at getting deflections. He's insane at trying to use every inch of his body and trying to find the advantage he has over certain guys. And Okoro isn't that. He just isn't that. It just, unfortunately, Okoro just does not have that sort of defensive instinct. He just also doesn't have the hands. Like, it's not a knock to him. It's just that you're seeing Okoro being put in these positions now where it's like he's being asked to be one of the best defenders in the league, when it's like he's a quality defender, but he's just not the best defender in the league. He's not up there. He's not Dyson Daniels and, like, you know, getting deflections constantly. He's not Caruso. He's also not anyone on that Oklahoma City team, really, honestly. Like, Cason Wallace, for example, is shorter, but he's very good defensively. Like, it's definitely them trying to replicate front office and coaches. They're trying to replicate Caruso. It hasn't worked. So, I completely agree. I think obviously Box was right on the money with that. Actually, other phone calls was sus. It's either Nico Harrison's an idiot, or yeah, that was pretty sus. Yeah. No matter how much you hate conspiracy theories and try to stay out of them, this trade was wildly sus. I think you can argue the trade itself was wildly sus. Like, you can't convince me that the lottery is rigged. Okay, like you cannot convince me the lottery is rigged. You just can't. Like, the way that the lottery's done now, you can't convince me it's rigged. Previous years, you could definitely convince me it was rigged in previous years. Like, way back into, you know, decades ago, yeah. Nowadays, no, you can't convince me it's rigged nowadays. So, like, you can't tell me, like, oh, hey, the league called the Mavericks, like, hey, trade Luka to LA and we'll give you Cooper Flag. Like, that you can't convince me that, but you could maybe convince me of the fact that, like, yo, you know, the way that the Mavericks handled the situation, like, you know, they maybe answered one other call, and I guess it was the Milwaukee Bucks, and they were heavily interested in Anthony Davis for some reason, and they're willing to trade Luka for him. Like, yeah, that I can understand that for sure. If you want to get that, there's definitely some sus in that for sure. Like, trading LeBron for 32, 33-year-old declining T-Mac, right? Like, LeBron at like 25, 26 years old is, yeah, trading him for declining T-Mac, yeah. I'd probably say Giddey and Kobe together look really good, although most of their minutes were staggered. I've been really excited for his return because we lacked a true shot creator. I don't know if they looked good together tonight. I mean, like, they both had their struggles overall from the field tonight. I think we saw both of them had some issues creating advantages in the half court. The good news, though, is this. I think Kobe's ability to get to the free throw line and his quick first step is still there, which is very good to see. You can tell he's also willing to just launch threes, which is also very important for this Bulls team. Excuse me. Due to their lack of three-point volume recently, I think that's very important. So I'm happy to see that from Kobe. And we still continue to see Giddey knock down some threes tonight. So that's some good signs. I'm not overall pleased with how they looked together tonight, but there are definitely some goodish moments. Like the Giddey Kobe pick and roll little slip screen action, like, that was good. It generated a Giddey floater that was a crucial bucket at the end of the game. That was crucial. And Kobe, you know, down, you know, he had some important possessions and made the shot to go into double overtime. So there's definitely some positives for sure. I mean, Kobe getting to, what was it, 27 tonight? Like, that's insane in his first game back. Like, this is very, very good. Definitely some rust. I'm totally fine with that, though. That's not an issue. Giddey getting to his triple-double numbers is good. The turnovers were bad, though, tonight. So I guess the biggest thing I'll take away from the both of them was that they both did get to the free throw line a decent chunk. I mean, Kobe a lot. Giddey got to 7, which is what he was kind of doing in October, so that's good overall. Go back in and, oh my god, Ja and AD would be disastrous trades. Yeah. Ja makes no sense to me. I don't know why people are in on Ja. Ja has not improved his game since he's come into the league, and you're seeing that the athleticism is waning on him, and he has not like improved like his jumper. So you're seeing that it's harder for him to get his quality buckets. I know the whole offense in Memphis is weird right now, and you know they're having issues in Memphis and like coaching and everything like that. But like Ja has just not improved, pretty much, and like it's limiting him. And so trading for him, it makes no sense to me. I don't understand that at all. Like unless we're moving on from Giddey, like I don't understand the thought process. Makes no sense to me. Can't function on a court without a large screen like Edie or Adams, which does not exist in the Bulls. I mean, Vucevic is okay, but yeah, he's not the best screener. Yeah, injury risk. Yeah, they're both injury risk for sure. And I don't know about Ja's overall mental right now. Anyone else feel like Io's our only plug and play guard at any line he just fits? I mean, for the most part, I think Io's probably the best. Yeah. I think Giddey is slowly starting to get into that category of like, if he's hitting his threes consistently off the ball, like he could definitely be plug and play in a sense. Defensively though, is still just like, especially recently, has not been that great. But I think Aya's probably arguably the best. There's a plug and play. Like, if Giddey's hitting his 3-point shot and everything, like yeah, like you can argue he's plug and play in a sense. Obviously, you know, if he's demanding the ball, that's a little bit different. The Hawks won today? What the fuck? I didn't even realize the Hawks won this game. Or the Hawks were down like 17. I just noticed this. Like, this is even worse for the Bulls in the standings, because like I thought the Hawks were gonna lose tonight, and they won this game against the Phoenix Suns. Like, I'm shocked the Hawks won this. Wow. I mean, yeah, the Hawks just moved up even higher in the standings, and that without Trae Young. 80 old glass fits no timeline. Yeah, I feel like Kobe is launching just to get shots up low. I know as the season progresses, things will clear up for him. I think earlier in the game when he knew he's like kind of coming out, I agree a little bit. But here's the thing though, Thomas. Like I'm okay if we have like that, if we believe Kobe's like the guy, for example, right? Like him taking those sort of shots is a way to keep the defense honest, and like, it shows like, hey, if I knock this down, like you gotta guard me from like 35 feet easily. Like I'm fine with that, honestly, if he's knocking him down. That's the problem is though, is that he's never been a guy to consistently knock those down. That's the issue. Now I do agree though, it was a little bit of shot chucking in this game earlier, just to get some shots up, kind of get his rhythm going and everything, that's fine. I'm all for it. Yeah, this is different circumstances, then it would be a little bit different for me, but I mean, I was honestly fine with what he did today. He was trying to sell us that was better than 23-year-old D Rose. I mean, I think that there are similarities in their game, but yeah, no. Derrick Rose was in a slower tempo, different game, and was still getting all of those stats. Like, yeah. I was nearest to plug and play nearest, but I don't think he's that much of a fit in the you can't put him into certain kinds of players if it was another team. I think in terms of a guard, though, I think he can probably plug and play into most guard spots, though. Like, on most teams. Like, he can either be a guy that can handle the balls in some aspects, or you can also put him off ball. Like, I think having that ability, it allows him to go onto most other teams and be like, hey, if I remove one guard, right, and I put Io in, like, would he find a way to be effective? And, like, yeah, I think if he's on ball, it would be a little bit worse, but it's also not like the worst case scenario. Like he can be in a sense effective on ball. We've seen this like from Io, so I think that's kind of what we're looking at. Last season after the break, I felt like it was them two getting to the free throw line was their strength. Who else in the team can actually draw fouls? Bulls dropped to 11. Yeah, I agree that it's those two guys that could draw the fouls for sure, but it has to just obviously be consistent moving forward. They've also dropped to tied for 9th or 11th, if you want to put it that way, in the standings. Brooks scored 34 and then lost. Yeah. Bro, I'm actually shocked by this because like the Phoenix Suns have actually been like pretty decent this season. I need to check on this because I thought Newell should be getting more minutes, honestly. But like these guys have actually been like pretty solid this year. No Grayson Allen. Okay, that's a big loss for them. Not having Grayson Allen is pretty huge. Jalen Green got to Phoenix and just can't stay healthy, which I feel terrible about that for him. But I thought they were gonna win this. Like I'm just quickly, let's see what happened. I mean, yeah, like they had, look at this. Oh my god, bro, they had a 17-point advantage in the third quarter alone. Okay, that's after winning the first half by 1, and they blew it. They lost. Bro, oh my god. Yeah, Phoenix had a 22-point lead in this game, and they lost. That's insane. I checked in on this game when it was in the middle of the third quarter for them. I was like, oh wow, Phoenix has a ginormous lead. Okay, that I'm, you know, they're probably gonna win this one. And hell, bro, like they, like Nas, you know, he's like Dyson Daniels has been weird. Like he's not had the best season overall, but you know, Jalen Johnson's had like a really good recent stretch. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been pretty solid. Yeah, no Kristaps tonight. No, obviously no Trae Young. And they're missing even more guys too. So, wow, that's a crazy win for Atlanta. Teresa should come back in. I saw that fall he took on the Duncan. I did not see that. I don't know if he did come back in, honestly. Let's check. Yeah, it looks like he did. I mean, he played in the fourth, unless the foul happened in the fourth. But he played in the fourth quarter, if that's what you're wondering. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Just a brief look around the NBA. Last thing I want to do, I'm not gonna do film breakdown tonight. I mean, I could bring up so many plays. I was so pissed at the Bulls for not switching properly, or their defense was failing. It's just bad transition defense, etc. But last but not least, I just want to go ahead and, like, just because we talked a little bit about some of these trade ideas and such, like, I do want to just bring up just look at this one more time, just to understand where we're at, okay? When it comes to trying to find ways to improve this team, okay? If it was up to me, I'm rebuilding, okay? Like, the Bulls are not rebuilding. I don't care what you think, honestly, but, like, you know, I shouldn't say that. If you think the Bulls are rebuilding, you have a little bit of an argument. I personally do not think they're rebuilding, though. I've been adamant that I think the Bulls are trying to win and trying to be like an actual like competitive team. That's not rebuilding, okay? You're retooling, but they're trying to do the whole young players with experience sort of direction. That's not rebuilding to me. Rebuilding to me, if you want to know my definition of a rebuild, it means that you are trying to accumulate as much young talent as possible in as little amount of time. And you either accumulate young talent through trades or you accumulate young talent through picks. But either way, your priority is to accumulate as much young talent as possible in as short as amount of time. And the Bulls very clearly are not trying to do that right now. They're trying to get young players with experience, but don't really care about draft picks. They're not trying to look to add more draft picks to their team. They're not trying to add more young talent as quickly as they can. They're just like bringing on like one more person every year. So with that being said, I just personally do not think that this is a rebuild. You can disagree with me on that, but that is your decision. I'm just going to go on and bring a couple of things here just to show what I'm looking at for this team moving forward, okay? So here's Spot Track. Here's my cap sheet, okay? I always like to have this as my own, and I've shared it with you guys before. But yeah, here's my cap sheet. This is this season. Here's next season, okay? These are cap holds, if you're wondering. This is the number that I currently have for the Bulls from my estimates and everything. This is copied from Spot Track, if you're wondering. But these are my numbers that, if you're wondering, like, okay, what are we looking at for the Bulls when it comes to next season, okay? And you know, these are my numbers as we go through it. It's important though when you look at this, okay, you're like, wait, where's certain money coming from? This is important, okay? This number here, for example, like Kobe White's cap hold, like this is part of the cap. Like if if you hold on to Kobe White's cap hole, which I expect the Bulls to do, you can't use that cap space. You have to renounce his rights to get this cap space, right? So people are saying, oh, we're gonna have, we're gonna have so much cap space next off season, and it's like, no, like, you're thinking with all these like potential, guys coming off the books like Vucevic, Collins, and Herter, it's possible. But the problem is that like we're so far past the salary cap that like getting guys off the books is just lowering ourselves back down until we eventually reach the salary cap. But it's not, these numbers are not like, oh, we're gonna have a significant amount of money. It's hard to kind of gauge it like from this sort of aspect, because it's like, oh, here's like your active cap or whatever and everything like that. But that's another time for another day. But like, yeah, the Bulls could get to a lot of salary cap space if you're wondering. Okay, like this is the possibility. So like this is basically copied over from Spot Track, right? Like they have 86 million. I have a 12th overall pick added in here, and so this number could go up and down. But like I'm factoring in the pick selection if you're wondering. And so if that is the case, like, yeah, I see the Bulls, like they could have $74 million in salary cap space, but that's getting rid of Io and Kobe no matter what. That means you're renouncing these two guys as cap holds, which I just do not think that the Bulls have any interest in doing that. So my prediction is this number. If you're wondering how much salary cap space I believe the Bulls can have, it's $35 million. Okay. It's not like people said 80 million, people said 100 million. Okay. That was without the Giddey contract coming in. And that's without renouncing any of your salary cap or any of your cap holds. And I'm like, are you willing to give up Kobe White right now? Because if you give up this cap hold, you get rid of his bird rights. That's just not going to happen. I promise you it's not. So, here's what I want to show you though. Okay. If we go to Spot Track, I am personally, sorry about the voice crack, I'm personally just concerned of what we're going to do with this salary cap space anyway. It honestly might just be used just to re-sign guys. Here's the free agency list, and I'm like, okay, well, if any guys at the top here that are listed, I'm like, well, we're not getting LeBron. He might retire. I am not interested in Trae Young. I'm not interested in bringing LaVine back. I'm gonna assume that Harden's gonna accept this player option or renegotiate with the Clippers. Okay, McCollum and Middleton are too old. Respect to them, they're quality players, but they're too old. And I'm personally, I mean, like Porzingis is okay, but his injury history has scared the living hell out of me recently. Harden signs club option is gonna either get accepted or he's gonna get declined and get brought back to the Thunder easily. Okay. Wiggins is interesting for sure, but I don't think he's gonna decline his player option. Like that's too much money for him to decline. I'm not interested in Harris, I'm not interested in Fred VanVleet. Draymond's gonna just go back to the Warriors, okay? Simons, like we have Kobe already. Collins is not a rim protector, so if you're wondering, basically I'm just showing you like, hey, centers. So here's the center list, by the way. We have a familiar face in Vucevic, who we are not interested in bringing back, at least in our opinion. Again, Hardenstein is not coming to us. As much as I would love for that to happen, he's not coming back, or he's not coming here. Excuse me. Not interested in Nurkic. Here's Collins. And so we get to then Mitchell Robinson, who has a bad injury history, which, like, yeah, he would definitely help the Bulls with the rim protection, but injury history issues. Not interested in Robert Williams. Don't think Wagner's going away from Orlando. Brook Lopez is too old. I mean, Aiden only looks good with Luka. Let's just be honest. Like, that's just a reality situation. This is gonna get picked up for Kevon Looney. And so like it just like the options run out quick. The one guy that I'm honestly like thinking about this, and I think that he'll just re-up with the Pistons, and like we'll even send him an offer, and like it won't even matter. But like, if let's say for example, like, you keep both these cap holds, you then try to send as much money as you can to Duren, and try to get him away from the Pistons. Like, it's not gonna happen because the Pistons have the space to bring him back. But like, I'm more than willing to try. He's restricted, so I just, to me, it's just not gonna be possible to get him. But he would be the guy that I would love to get. But pretty much though, I'm just pointing out like there's not really many center options as like upgrades. So Nick Richards, like, I guess that's the guy. Mark Williams is restricted, so he's not coming here. So again, same thing with Walker Kessler is restricted. So I don't really know, man. I don't really know where this money's gonna be going. Because like I'm like concerned they're gonna invest it in other areas, or just use it just to re-sign Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins. I mean, look, Zach Collins has been a quality center when he's been here and playing, but the problem is his injury history has just followed him his entire career. So, yeah, I don't love it. I'm looking at for Bulls options moving forward, but yeah, we will see what happens, bro. Like, in my opinion, we should be using that cap space just to take on a bad contract or something and get some picks out of it, but the Bulls won't do that. The Bulls don't value picks, so, which doesn't make any sense to me, because it's just like, maybe you don't value picks, but other teams do. So, like, if you want to make trades, you should try to trade for draft picks. But very clearly that's not on the Bulls' agenda. Yeah, I can get so petty, but boy, am I laughing at Clippers for trading Norman Powell to make space for Beal. Oh, bro, I mean, that trade has been so horrible, because like the Powell trade was for John Collins, right? But it was also to make space for Bradley Beal, and it's just been so bad. I was wrong about that. I thought that the John Collins deal would be a lot better. Now, granted, Kawhi's been out, but yeah, the Clippers, I thought they'd be very good, and they look terrible right now. No Kawhi hurts. First, I appreciate that I'm trying to win. Never been a fan of losing on purpose. I do feel like they can expedite the process of retooling some. So here's the thing when I say rebuilding versus tanking. I want to make this clear, okay? I think tanking and rebuilding are two completely different things, okay? Tanking is intentionally losing games, and you're throwing games intentionally. You're not developing players. You're just straight up, you're just tanking. Like, you are finding ways to lose every single game possible. Your objective is to lose, okay? That's not what I think rebuilding is. I think rebuilding, okay, is you accumulate as many assets as you can to get as much young talent as quickly as possible. You're still developing guys. You're still trying to go out and try to win those games, but you rebuilt, okay, and so you should have an abundance of assets to use as through your rebuild, which means that you get an abundance of draft picks. You have the chance to trade when it's the proper time, okay? You're going to be getting a bunch of young prospects in either trades or the draft all at once, okay? But your job is to try to develop those guys and to try to win with them. That's not tanking to me. But the biggest thing to me, though, is that you accumulated so much young talent, or ways to get young talent in picks, okay, that you should have an abundance of assets on your team, okay? When when you pick the guys that you want to keep or move forward with, then you should still have the assets to go out and make the proper moves. The Bulls didn't do that, right? They traded Caruso for Giddey, a 1-for-1, okay? No draft picks back. They traded Levine for Trey Jones, Zach Collins, and Kevin Huerter. All three of them are vets, okay? And we got our own pick back, which, again, no thoughts on that. I mean, it's worked out much better than I thought it would, and props to everyone, but, I have thoughts. We traded DeMar DeRozan for just some second-round picks when we could have traded him earlier. Didn't trade Vucevic last season, right? And so we do not have any extra first-round picks, even after sending out some guys, besides that Portland pick that Mike convey. So that to me is where it's like, it's not a rebuild to me, because like, you're not valuing picks. You traded Lonzo Ball for Isaac Okoro instead of any second rounders, and I include second rounders in this sort of category, but that's the way it is. That's where we're at. So it's a retool. The thing is, though, is that if you're really trying to retool on the fly here, you're gonna have to just give up something. Like, you're gonna have to give up someone that's valuable to you to try to go and get better, and you're probably to give up some future assets, because you're just continuously just picking around like 11th or 12th right now at every draft. So unless you're gonna hit some lottery luck, which I know a lot of Bulls fans say we should never try to depend on that, which I agree with, which is why I say rebuilding is different than tanking, because tanking is just straight up just trying to lose all 82 games and try to get the best lottery pick. But rebuilding is not dependent on tanking. It's just accumulating a bunch of assets. We're not in either of those categories right now. So we are honestly in even more spot where I feel like we're dependent on lottery luck, but we're still trying to win. So that's the reason why I when I get on to Bulls fans about like, hey, where are we at with this team? Like, people say rebuild, but to me, a rebuild is what my definition is, like I said. And it's not tanking, because we're not trying to lose games, okay? But we're in mediocre hell, where we're, just in not going anywhere in the playoffs, and we're, losing too many games to be an effective playoff caliber squad, but we're picking, 11th or 12th every year unless we get lottery luck. So it's not a great spot to be in. That's the way I personally look at it, right? You know, you can disagree with me. You have every right to disagree with me on that. You can disagree if it's a good or bad decision right now, or we're in a good or bad spot. To me, we're in a pretty terrible spot right now. Unless obviously someone like Buzelis or Giddey or Asenge develop into, you know, all NBA level talents. Which I don't think that, you know, Buzelis has the best chance, but I don't know. The direction AK is going, retool and try to be competitive instead of rebuilding. I personally don't think it's going to work, but because to me, it's like the whole argument that they're saying is that we're not going to skip steps. I'm like, well, you're skipping steps. Like you're skipping the development process. Like you're doing this whole, you know, young players with experience because you don't want to develop these guys. I'm like, bro, like the whole point of rebuilding is that you have to develop these guys. So you're skipping that step, and now you're trying to like go out and get guys like a Koro to take, you know, take minutes away from guys like Buzelis and Asenge. Like, you're skipping steps. You're trying to win games. You're actively taking away minutes from your younger players instead of trying to develop these guys. So I don't know what they're doing, but that's the way I personally view it. But they potentially get a star, re-sign Kobe, and then plug in some cheap role players. So again, getting a star means that, I don't know, like we're trading for someone that's you know, all NBA caliber. Like let's just say, for example, we're trading for Jason Tatum. Okay, like you're trading probably Buzelis, yeah, Buzelis, Asenge gone or something like that. I don't know, Patrick Williams as well. Just trying to match up the contracts. And then like, you know, every first round pick. So like, yeah, it's definitely doable. You could go and trade for a star, and then you could also re-sign Kobe. You'd probably be in luxury tax territory, which I don't know how that would work out with the Reinsdorfs, but it's possible for sure. You could do that. It just limits you than what you could do afterwards. Like, does Giddey need to be involved in that trade? I don't know. I would hope not. But trading for superstars is hard, man. Like, it's not easy to get one of those guys. So, get a fringe star? I personally don't think it's worth investing though into a fringe star. That's the issue. Like, to me, investing into a fringe star is only beneficial when you have a star already. I don't think the Bulls have one. So I feel like investing into a fringe star is investing assets into a guy that will never be your main guy. And you're just trying to stay competitive. So I don't like it personally. Oh, sorry, I jumped back in earlier. I meant if Bulls play the way they had earlier in the season, not this way game specific. Oh, I see. I gotcha. Only entry prospects is Mitch Robinson. Robin Williams are ultra injury prone. I agree. People often confuse tanking with rebuilding. Rebuilding means stashing picks, playing your young players and developing them while drafting as good as possible. Hinkie did a lot of damage to a lot of people. I agree. Yeah. Like, the Hinkie, the process was a tank, right? That was not a rebuild. That was a tank. For many years. That they were not developing guys. They were just straight up, we're going to lose and try to get the first overall pick. And, you know, they didn't get it many seasons. This is a rebuild to me is different. And I would appreciate the Bulls went that direction. And if you're wondering, like, I do not want the Bulls to be rebuilding. Like, I would much rather them just, you know, I think there's many ways, especially with the amount of money the Bulls have, that you could find a way to stay competitive and never rebuild. But with the way the Bulls have put themselves in their current position without extra assets, without extra draft picks, and relying on draft pick luck, it looks like, and you don't have like the, you know, prime blue chip prospects to go out and trade right now. Like, that's why it looks really bad right now for the Bulls to me. And it's like, oh, like, I would rather you just rebuild instead of doing what you're doing right now. But no, that's my opinion. I think Hawks fans have said Dyson is playing so well defensively in a non-stat stuff that it's making Young get even more questions. Record better since injury. Huh? Yeah, that's intriguing. Dyson Daniels has not been the best overall offensively, but his defense obviously is insane. So, yeah, I think honestly, if you're Hawks fans right now with the way the training has looked recently, I think you have some questions. Yeah. For me, it's more of a coaching problem. I would like to see this team with a different coach. Really, Migs. Like, look, bro. I don't know how early you joined the stream, Migs, because like we've criticized the living fuck out of Donovan tonight, right? But we also said though that two things can be true: that Donovan's not coaching this team well, but at the same time that we believe that this team has many flaws. This roster has flaws, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, as much as Donovan is at fault for a lot of things, like for many different sort of situations in these past 5-ish games, okay, I still think though that this team has flaws. Like, we're still looking at this team as bad defensively, no rim protector, lack of shot creator down the stretch of games, and we're not seeing, like, you know, consistent offense from certain guys. We only have one consistent 20-point per game scorer right now, and that's Giddey, and he's been inefficient recently. So, like, to me, at least in my opinion, like, as much as people, like, yeah, I understand that Donovan, like, don't get me wrong, we've criticized Donovan a lot in the stream today, but two things can be true, like we said earlier, like how Ryan Fraley said in earlier, that, like, yeah, Donovan has sucked, but also this team is flawed. Like, so, I don't know. I think that a new coach would not personally fix this with what we've seen so far. I think that a new coach would still have the same issues that we're seeing in some aspects, like in terms of just the way the roster is constructed and everything. So, and the other team actually develops their young players, then go into the playoffs a couple of years down the road. Then you end up with a superstar plus Kobe duo fighting for their lives in the first round. Yeah, I was thinking a guy like Jaden Ivey, but he's only 6'3". If we don't keep Kobe and we go after Jaden Ivey, sure, I'm all for that. Yeah. But it seems like the priority is to keep Kobe White, which is fine. I just, you know, don't pay him a max. He doesn't deserve a max for what he's done. I mean, he's improved every single season, which I applaud him for. I'm trying to see where we're at when it comes to these guys. I thought Duran, okay, I guess Duran did not sign a new contract. I thought Duran for sure signed a new contract. I guess not. Okay, so they did not come to a extension. So I mean, yeah, these guys would be restricted free agents, both him and Ivy. So yeah, I mean, I like both these guys. I love both those guys, but I think if you're the Pistons, why are you gonna break up this team? Like, this team is very good. They have, like, they'll have plenty of cap space even with, like, Cunningham's, like, contract and everything. Like, they'll be fine. I hate that they don't show the tax. Like, the tax is from the guess of the tax is gonna be 201, and so the Pistons, with their active, they have 131. Like, they're gonna have to re-sign obviously Ivy and Duran to some massive deals, but, like, they'll still be under the luxury tax, and that's all that matters. So yeah, they're gonna keep those guys for sure. They move from play-ins to a secure playoff spot, first round exits, maybe second round if we outdo ourselves. Because in order to trade for a legit superstar, talk about a contract in the region of 60 million. That will take a lot of assets if you take a look at our current contract situation. Yeah. Wait, sorry, Box. I'm just trying to read. I'm trying to read what you're saying. So, like, are you saying that you think that trading for a fringe star would be worth it, or, like, because, like, to me it's not worth it. Not worth. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Sorry, your last little paragraph made me confused, but yeah, I agree. Duran won't shift Shirley from the Pistons, but he does fit Giddey for Shirley. Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think those two would fit well if, you know, Duran continues on his level that we've seen, which, you know, I expect him to. But yeah, it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be, you know, they're gonna keep Duran for sure. Isaiah Stewart was brought up earlier, and, like, Stewart's interesting because, like, he is, like, honestly, like, alright in terms of his rim protection, but it's just the problem is that he's 6'8". You know, he's, like, blocking 1.9 shots per game, like, which is very good. Like, don't get me wrong, that's very good. It's just, like, he's, like, kind of transitioned to more of, like, a 4 now this season. So, like, I like Isaiah Stewart a lot. I just don't know if he'd be our center of the future. Because, like, he's kind of like the 4 now all of a sudden for them. So, I don't know. You think the Lakers would let Connector Hachimura go? Don't know if they'd want Vooch. Oh, you're talking about Vucevic for Hachimura and Connect. I don't know why they would do that personally, because Aiden's honestly done well for them, and I mean, it's honestly I feel crazy saying that, but like Aiden's honestly done really well for them. So like, I personally don't think there's any reason for them to make a Vucevic trade. Like I know the backup center is Jackson Hayes, but like you're not trading for Vucevic for him to be your backup center, right? You're trading Vucevic to be your starting center, but like he needs touches. Like it's a weird spot for people. So I personally don't see them interested in Vucevic at all. Aiden's honestly done well for them, so unless Aiden starts to suck, I don't see it personally. Oh, let him go. There's like guys to go and get in the off season. Lakers are in a weird spot because like we don't really know what LeBron's gonna do. But Connect's not gonna be let go, or he's not gonna be restricted or a free agent anytime soon. But yeah, Hachimura is definitely more intriguing. We just don't know how big this Reeves extension is gonna be. This is gonna be a massive extension for him. And then wherever LeBron fits in here, if he's gonna continue playing. So yeah, I guess there's a possibility that he might be let go. I mean, they have bird rights on him though, so I guess there's a world. If I had to make a guess though, I think they keep him. Like Lakers are not worried about the tax at all. They have bird rights on him easily. Like they'll re-sign him, I think, to something similar, and I think they'll be okay. I know this is gonna be massive. Like this contract's gonna be massive for Reeves. They might need to shed like Vanderbilt or something, but yeah, I guess there's a world. There might be a world where it happens. We should be taking a look at OKC's leftovers. That's a good place to start for sure. Yeah. They have a few players who won't stay after the season there, and these are even the 12th man plus that are better than Bulls starters. Center, oh yeah, so center Jalen Williams, not J-Dub. Or Carlson could be dropped even though J-Bill's locker room dude. So I think Carlson's probably more likely. But we will see. Bulls lack toughness. I mean, yeah, but I also think we lack talent right now. Wiggins already became available. Bro, I would love Aaron Wiggins, bro. If Aaron Wiggins became available, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, go get Aaron Wiggins. It's not going to happen, but yeah. Do we need to trade one or give in on one? If I was them, I would drop Caruso next season in a trade, as crazy as it sounds, given they have 3 other younger, rising and cheaper, Dort, AJ, and Kaysen. I don't know, honestly. I feel like OKC is going to be just fine, even Caruso. Like, the thing with OKC is, like, if you're wondering about, like, this season, okay, like, they're still fine for this season. It doesn't matter. They're not in a repeater tax or anything like that. Aaron Wiggins is not available because they locked him up to a very nice deal, and so they're you know. So yeah, we talk about, you know, Brandon Carlson's a guy that Charles and I have talked about. Like, yeah, if we could get Brandon Carlson, I would definitely like him. He's a guy that we've talked about before on this channel. Yeah, I understand it's like nothing impressive right now, but like you have to trust like OKC is like very good at fighting these guys. Like you have to trust in these guys. Yeah, I think Kenrich Williams is probably gonna be on his way out. Not interested in him really, honestly. I mean, bro, they're in such a good spot, and then they have all these draft picks coming in, and you know, if the Clippers suck this season, then they have a chance at getting one of the top 3 prospects this draft. Yeah, so I mean, like maybe Caruso's on the chopping block, but even then, I don't think that's gonna be that's gonna happen. I unfortunately think Topic will be like he'll be gone just due to his issues. He unfortunately has cancer, and he had surgery on it, so I hope nothing but the best for him. Bro, I forgot they have Sorber, bro. Oh my god, man. I honestly wonder if Isaiah Hartenstein's gonna, like, they're gonna decline his option and then they'll bring him back for cheaper. Like, 20.5 million is insane. Like, I mean, he's very good, but it's just like, if you can find a way to save some dollars, like, you know, you decline his option and bring him back for something cheaper, like for 20 million a year, like, that will save some money. I mean, maybe Casey Wallace is on his way out just because he's going to be a restricted free agent, and they're like, yo, we have all these draft picks coming in anyway. Like, maybe I would go and get him if that's the case, but it's tough, man. Yeah, so maybe it's Caruso. I think they're going to keep Caruso, though. I think he's here to stay. Wiggins is up there, most underrated players. Oh, I mean, Aaron Wiggins is for sure an underrated player in this league, for sure. Lately, if I'm wondering, underrate Devin Booker at this point. I mean, yeah, I think there's an argument for that. If you could realistically trade for a certain position, what would you do? Personally, I would look for a forward. For me, it's center, easily. Like, for me, with the forward positions, like, I think Buzelis and Asenge have it locked down for the future. The center position, though, for the future, to me, is still very up in the air. I don't want Vooch back. I think Collins, like, as good as he's played, his injuries concern me too much, and I don't want to pay him too much money. Jalen Smith, you know, he has his moments, but, like, he's probably better on a contender. So me, personally, it's center. It's tough right now, trying to figure out who that would be. If I had to go with next position, it's obviously then forward because we have so many guards on the roster. But for me, it's center, personally. You have to drop someone for incoming picks, surely. I mean, I guess, yeah. So I guess, like, Casey Wallace, Kenrich Williams, Nikola Topic, and... I mean, AJ Mitchell's played so well this season, so I don't think they can drop him. So, bro, I don't know, man. So is why I felt a center will drop. I heard so weird how a center feels giddy like to me. I mean, bro, I guess in a sense, but I think Hartenstein's like he's very good, man. Like on both ends, I like Hartenstein a lot. I don't think people give him enough credit for what he does. Maybe center too. Center is good to build around a position too, generally. Well, it's not necessarily built around, but it's like it really helps kind of shape your defense, right? Like, you kind of know what you need to do defensively if you, like, understand where your center is defensively, so. My brother sent my ass down this summer to see which young players have a chance to turn into future superstars. Let's say Buzelis, Asenge, and Giddey is 23, while also trying to bid on young restricted free agent players. That's not a bad strategy at all. Again, I would be down for this, but I don't think they're going to do this, yeah. Am I comfortable with these three? If not, I eventually put Giddey on the block to focus on developing Boozy, Ver, and Noah, then start building around them via the draft, free agency, etc. I'd be down for that as well. I think for Giddey, I'd be looking to keep him around for now with how well he's played. Like, if those are your three, yeah, I mean, like, I'm cool with that. It's just like keep those three, get some draft picks, and move on. Like, yeah. Like, how much money do you want to bet of that happening? I would also probably keep Io around, but if we can't keep Io, that's also fine. But like, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. From the rest of the players, I tried to hold on Io. He's not selfish, doesn't need the ball. Yeah, so like, yeah, we're on the same page with that. Yeah, no, it's we keep those four in a sense, and then we just move on. But it's obviously still too early to tell. Like, there is a chance Kobe turns into an all-star this season, so it's still too early to tell when it comes to that. So we gotta wait on Kobe to see how he plays this year. Let's say just for the example, though, like, let's say no one's an all-star, because I don't know if you guys saw the whole the all-star format, right? Because it's gonna be, you know, one international team, which we thought was gonna be two. It's only one though, and like, you know, Giddey has a chance for sure, but it's gonna be tough because, like, I forgot Karl-Anthony Towns is gonna be part of that international team, so that's. Yeah, it's gonna be rough it's gonna be hard for Giddey to make it, especially with the way the market is playing. But let's say no one becomes an all-star this year, okay? Kobe doesn't become one. Like, Giddey kind of holds sort of this line, but probably a little bit lower to the points per game. Like, I'd be all for trading, you know, moving on from guys, trading them out, resetting, get picks and everything like that, and try to build through the draft and everything, and you know, try to splurge on some of these restricted free agents. But yeah, I'd be for it. It's not gonna happen. And if you can't splurge on these restricted free agents, then you use your cap space for draft picks, which we know that won't happen. So. Yeah. Giddey can easily give 2 years to see while looking at. Yeah, I'm keeping Giddey for now, right? But yeah, it's like you said, Box. Yeah, if not, right, then you know, keep your options open, right? Yeah, I'm with you. Guys can also make players look good for the development early on. I don't know about making him look good. I just appreciate his function on the floor as a tempo pusher. Like, I guess you're gonna say that that's what makes him look good, sure, but like I think it's just important just to have you play fast with a young team, and Giddey is a good engine for that. So that's where his value is gonna truly lie for keeping him around for sure. Give me Dash Daniels next season, please. Hey man, yeah, I mean he's a guy. I have heard some like negative things overall of like just Dash Daniels' game, and like, you know, he hasn't played like NBA competition yet or like American competition, but I'm intrigued by him for sure. Yeah. International is huge. Starting five the starting five is gonna be insane. That starting five for international is gonna go insane. The starting five, if you're wondering of just the projected starting five, right? It's Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the guards, okay? Then you have Giannis, Jokic, and Wemby as your forwards or the front court, bro. Like that starting five is insane. Yeah, and so then there's only 3 spots left remaining for the internationals, okay? And it's gonna be tough. Like I think it's gonna be really tough for Giddey to make it then, because one's gonna go to Şengün with how well he's playing, right? So that's one guy guaranteed. I also think that Karl-Anthony Towns is gonna go and be part of it because the Knicks are gonna be a quality team, and he's, you know, the second best scorer for them, or second best player. So there's that. And now then it comes down to this: like, is Franz Wagner gonna be the guy? Is it gonna be Markkanen? Right? Another guy that people haven't really mentioned yet is Jamal Murray. Okay, he's also from Canada, so he's also a guy. I unfortunately, I think for Giddey, it's going to be a rough road to try to get there. And by the way, this is without us mentioning guys like Siakam and like Sabonis. Like, you know, in a typical year, Pascal Siakam will be in this conversation, but he's not. And then Joel Embiid is also not. So, like, you know, we haven't mentioned Joel Embiid because he's injured. So, like, that's going to be the issue or that's the good thing, right? For this year for Giddey, but like in other years though, it's not going to be as easy. So yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough for Giddey to make the All-Star team this year, even with this whole international rule. It's going to be pretty tough. So I hope he makes it. That'd be great if he does make it. It puts the Bulls in a better spot if he makes it, but it's tough. It's tough competition because, bro, I just mentioned the starting five. Like, that starting five is just like an otherworldly team. Like, that starting five is insane just to think about. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The only reason I really want to keep Kobe is that he would demand a lot of usage and shots. Such usage, I prefer to go to Montes and Noah. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Like, I think it's honestly reasonable. I know that some people are very big Kobe supporters, and like I said, I think that we should be giving Kobe this season just to kind of see where he's at, like if he can get to All-Star level, and if he can, then, you know, we look to keep him around. But if he can't, right, then I would be definitely looking to see what we can do. Unfortunately, he's gonna be unrestricted free agent, so, you know, best would maybe be a sign and trade, but or sign him and trade him later. That might be the plan. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we look at. In order to fast forward to the development, I'm with it. Yeah. Dash Lecta versus Pelicans in the Melbourne game versus Pels. Gotcha. Okay. He is a better scorer than Dyson. Okay. Cat Pascal. Denny, yeah, Denny has been really good for Portland. I don't agree with some of the things he says, but yeah, he's also a possibility, yeah. No, we take a spot off the international starting five. Oh my god, bro. That international starting five is just gonna be I'm just excited for the All-Star game just to watch that starting five. Like, you know, I understand that we're gonna have 3 teams and, you know, we'll see what they do with the teams and everything like that, but that international starting five, assuming they're all healthy, is just going to be insane to look at on the floor. And I know that most of them are out west, but like the fact that you get Giannis with those 4 other Western Conference players is just crazy. It'll be fun. Oh, it's an actually good off ball, which I like more in moments. Yeah. I think that we saw, you know, out of bounds, right? The silent out of bounds play that we saw him get the threes was pretty solid, and he made some decent decisions when he, you know, caught the ball and just, you know, either shoot, drive, or kick. He's gonna need the on-ball reps though, because just that's what this team needs. Sure. Go to classify as American for easier chance to spot. Oh my god, nah. I guess honestly that is I guess what would have happened, right? Is like Joel would be technically American if he classified that way, but because he did play for Team USA, so. As a restricted free agent next year, you think the Spurs let him go? And would he fit the Bulls team? He is young and inexperienced. He's young and experienced. Yeah, assuming that the Spurs make the playoffs this year or something, that he's young and experienced. I wouldn't throw too much money at him. Like, I don't think he's worth that much money. Personally, his 3-point shot's inconsistent, and his defense has not been as good as it was last season. That's my only concern with Sohan. What he kind of fit what the Bulls are kind of doing, sure. His 3-point shot though would be a little bit of an issue, and like he'd be kind of playing like this weird like Devontae Green sort of role with us, which I wouldn't really approve of. But if the Spurs just let him go, like, and they, you know, renounce his bird rights and everything, and he's an unrestricted free agent, then like, yeah, I mean, might as well try and like, you know, take a chance on him for sure. In terms of like trying to like outbid him from the Spurs, that's a little risky in my opinion. I don't want to give him too much money. Sohan's intriguing. He's just not as intriguing as other guys personally. So, he would kind of fit the like a 4/5. Like he can kind of play center in a sense. I wouldn't really play him no extended minutes there, but he would definitely fit like a 4 spot if we believe Buzelis is a 3, which I personally don't, but you know, it's on ball off ball question. It's intriguing. Yeah, if the Spurs just like let him go, then sure. I wouldn't mind taking a chance on him. Yeah. Sohan's like with his dribbling ability, he's definitely intriguing in a little bit of a sense. Yeah. The only good thing about USA versus international is that maybe the Americans will take it personally. Still a big maybe. But we can only hope to see what a somewhat competitive All-Star game finally. Yeah. So here's the thing, like, I don't think we're ever gonna see like a competitive All-Star game at any point soon. I wish we would, but I just don't think we're ever gonna see it really. But yeah, like the hope is that like you're gonna see some insane, like, you know, like good competition or something, or like, you know, guys taking it personally or whatever. It most likely won't happen, and that's fine. But for me though, at least, to see that the best international stars are on one roster, and that they can go and do, you know, and put on a show, right? Like, that's gonna be awesome to watch. So like last season, for example, if you're wondering, I watched the first All-Star game where they did like those stupid, you know, all those different quarters and stuff, and it just, the breaks were so long in between. I'm just like, bro, I watched, there was more concert than All-Star game last season. It was so bad. But yeah, I did not enjoy the All-Star game at all last season. It was terrible. But I think just the fact that I know, assuming everyone's healthy, that knowing that the international team is going to be that insane is just going to be awesome just to see. And I'll tune in just for that alone. So yeah. No, I won't cry about, but I won't celebrate that much if picked up. There are a few crashing players and rosters that will drop. I might consider maybe Cito Sissoko. Ooh, Sissoko is interesting. Yeah. If Hendricks or Black end up not part of the plans for those rising young teams. Black is, yeah, someone also I would consider. Again, it's hard to kind of figure out who was going to be available, but yeah. Someone kept saying he takes after Robin, but from the little I've watched from him with the Spurs, I don't see the dog defense or the rebounds chasing just the hair. Does anyone see more of him? So Sohan's been used weirdly in his Spurs time. He's like when he was he part of the Wemby draft? I don't remember which year it was, but he basically they put him at point guard for an extended period of time, and he's not a point guard. Okay, he was the year before Wemby. But they put him at point guard, and they're trying to get his ball handling and everything up and such. His defense was solid in his earlier part of his career, but this season alone, his defense looks like it's slowed down. He looks like he's lost a step. Now granted, he's also in a weirder role now, just because compared to what he was doing beforehand. Yeah, it's not great. His three-point shooting has been very, very, very bad over his career. It's never been something that's consistent. His rebounding could definitely be better, but it's okay for the sort of role he played. He's just, unfortunately, he's inefficient. So I would like to see more. It's a guy that, yeah, if he's just available, then yeah, I wouldn't take the chance on him for sure. The Spurs, though, I honestly don't think that they really need to do anything, though. In terms of if they need to trade anybody yet, because the Wembanyama extension is not until this season, so they're kind of locked into this roster, assuming they're going to keep some guys. We'll see what they do with Olynyk or something like that, but they have plenty of space right now. So they value Sohan, which I don't know if they do or not, but if they do, then yeah, I think they'll bring him back. But right now, getting back, I will put my faith in them not being willing to lose. Yeah, well, not faith, my hope. It's gonna be it's Shea, Vic, and maybe Giannis. I don't really know if Joker is gonna be really taking this All-Star game that seriously. I mean, there's times he doesn't even look like he's taking the regular game seriously, but I think it would just be fun if we see that the international players, they come out and they are trying hard and they really put on a show. Those five together, bro, is just awesome. So yeah, don't know how to feel about taking for the Kings, but Precious maybe. Precious is a guy that I've always said is someone I would like to go and get, but he's also sort of limited at this point. I've kind of seen from him. So as a backup, sure. As a guy, it's a starting center, he's undersized. So yeah. But yeah, he's going to be available in the offseason for sure. But he's more of just a backup, which is okay. We haven't said in an old pod something where's the incentive for us to play in the All-Star game? In All-Star, the fans are the incentive, your pride to prove your top dogs is the incentive. I mean, I think that the incentive of just being one of the top 12 players selected one of your top 12 players in your conference should be enough of an incentive to go out and put, at least give some effort. Okay, I'm not even asking for 110% effort. As much as I would love to see that happen, I'm just asking for some effort. And they won't even give us that. So yeah, I agree. What Draymond said is ridiculous. I don't agree with a lot of things he says these days, but yeah, Draymond, I mean, he probably won't ever be in any more All-Star games, honestly, but yeah, I wish it was better. They don't get the new gen players sometimes, well, most of the times. I mean, Draymond's not even new gen. Draymond's older. He's not a 20-year-old coming in and saying that. He's in his mid-30s. He's older, so. The late 2000s, the players were not only trying to outdo their ops, but they were also fighting for the teammates for the All-Star MVP. Yeah. And you could even see even the early 2000s, they weren't going at 110%, but they would give some effort, right? And that's all we want. The thing is with the All-Star game is just if you're gonna put on a show, a dunk contest show or something like that, hey, you know what, I at least appreciate the effort, right? It's the whole guys are just trotting up and down the court and not doing anything. It's boring. If we're gonna see, here's the thing, the funny thing is with the whole All-Star game now, it's when it was East versus West, like, yeah, it would be like blowouts or whatever, but like, at least for kind of me, at least, it was like kind of entertaining just to see, like, you know, Curry launching threes from like 40 feet out, or guys, you know, doing crazy alley-oop dunks. Like, that's kind of entertaining, at least. But then, like, you know, the whole teams happen, and like, you know, guys are just like, yeah, we're gonna just try to make it look kind of competitive, but it really wasn't, and it wasn't really much effort at all. It wasn't like Showtime anymore. It was just like, oh, we're gonna try to show some effort and then not really give effort. Yeah, and recently it's been a shit show. So I wanted to see some effort. Go out there and you know, play a little bit of defense, play a little bit of decent offense, give some effort, and you know, show like, hey, we're better than you. You know, some one-on-one matchups, like, you know, if we get some like good one-on-one opportunities, like if Luka Doncic and, you know, Anthony Edwards want to go at each other one-on-one, I think that'd be fun. You know, I think it's a fun opportunity just to do that, but it probably won't do that. We'll see. Just kind of to say, but I'm not actually a big fan, as I know, but I do wonder what Trailblazers would want for Scoot. Ooh, honestly, it's honestly a good thought. I'll think about that later. Yeah, they have team defenders with like 2 main scorers. Yeah, the Blazers definitely need some like scoring help. Yeah. It's one game with the current 24 best players in the league. I mean, come on. I mean, yeah. If it was me, I'm playing hard, but I'm not, you know, getting paid millions of dollars to not try to get injured. So the Bulls going to get a center at the deadline. Who do you think is the better option between Claxton and Gafford? I think Claxton would be the better option. I think. I don't. Gafford's not like. I'm scared. I mean, they're both honestly injury prone. I'll go Claxton. I forgot about Gafford's new contract that they just re-signed, which is ridiculous. Claxton's younger, his contract's decreasing. I understand his overall drive has been kind of questioned, and his, you know, he's not always healthy. I guess earlier part of his career, I forgot. Yeah, but I'll go Claxton. And better start to the season, I guess. So yeah, I'll say Claxton. I don't love I was really big on Claxton like previous years. This recently though, I'm not as big of a fan. Like his overall effort has not really been there. Gafford really scares me though with the lack of games he's played in. Like, this is a guy that is going to be making about $20 million a year and goes up every single season. He's 27 and like he doesn't play in that many games. Not to mention then like the way the Mavericks have used him is like him and Lively have basically been like sharing like they each get like 24 minutes each. Like they're not playing like, you know, 36 minutes a game. Where Claxton is more capable of like showing that like, yeah, I can play like 30 minutes a night. So I'll go Claxton. That's just my opinion at the end of the day. Would be beautiful for a starting live, so I keep bringing it up. I just found spot. Oh, you just found Spot Track? Oh, bro, I'm sorry that you have not found this website until now. Yeah, Spot Track's like my go-to. It's a phenomenal site. I love Spot Track. If you have Twitter, follow Keith Smith NBA. He is in charge of Spot Track. He runs Spot Track. He's very good at what he does. So yeah, this has become my favorite website immediately once I found it. Yeah, so here's Keith Smith, if you're wondering. Also, I'm gonna shamelessly plug my recent article if you have not checked it out. Which this was posted, I believe. Is that a Thursday or Friday? This was posted, so check that out if you have not seen it yet. I do agree that Rui would fit in pretty well. He unfortunately is a little bit limited defensively. He doesn't always try that much defensively. Now his jump shot has become very efficient. That's what Rui has done recently. Is his jump shot, whether it's from 3-point range or if it's from mid range, like he's become a very efficient player. And I appreciate that from Rui a lot. Yeah, like I mean, this season he's shooting 50% from 3-point range, so like he's become a very very efficient player. Defensively, he's not gonna really try though defensively. That is kind of the issue. But like in terms of like you want shooting and a quality guy to give you like 16 a night, yeah, Rui's not bad at all. You want to put a show, if they want to put a dunk contest like you said, then how about join the actual dunk contest? Well, I mean, like, you know, I think it's more so just like, you know, you're having all-stars, you know, do like alley-oops and stuff. But I do agree though, like I think we should see all-stars in the dunk contest, which sucks. Give all-star prize money for the winning size of 250K each. I just think it's ridiculous though. Like these guys get paid so much money already. Like you need more money, really? Like I can't stand that. I'm personally against giving them more money, honestly. We don't need to give them more money. Like we need to give that money to charity instead. I'm very much against giving them more money. They get so much money already, so we're good. I can't understand not playing hard even. I play national level stuff. I still play social game, so whatever I'm facing. So if I lose, I'll play each but higher. I mean, like I feel like the competitive nature of us should like show, but yeah, yeah, it's I don't know, man. No, basketball player by sport is competitive as nature as a driver. Yeah, I get you. We don't need really we have Montes and Noah. I think for Thomas, if you're wondering, maybe so like what Thomas is saying is like to improve the team now, like Rui would be a nice forward to add. Like he'll bring some like nice offense, like consistent shooting to the team. He's a like, you know, consistent like 15 like point per game, like 15, 16 point per game scorer right now. Again, he's not going to give you much defensively, unfortunately. As much as I would love to say that, unfortunately he does not give much defensively. He has some issues defensively. But in terms of adding quality like depth into your starting lineup, then you know, adding Rui when like it'd be all right. Also, right, making generational wealth, giving them more money. Yeah, I mean this. I'm with Box in this one. So I like Claxton never have as he has attitude issues, and Claxton's limited too. I mean, yeah, the free throws are bad, but like I think Gafford is also like I don't think we can play Gafford like 36 minutes a night. That's my issue with him. So if it's between those two, like I said, I'm choosing Claxton. Because Gafford's gonna be making more money, like, or maybe not more money, but he's he's paid, right? Like he's gonna get a decent chunk of money moving forward, right? Here's Gafford's, like he's gonna, you know, that's a lot of money for a guy that's only averaging about 20 minutes a night. So I'm personally for Claxton just because I know he can play more, but I don't love either one of those, honestly. I think that the Bulls need to just go and draft a center. I don't know, Giannis went harder for the cup game due to money, but that's Giannis though. Like I don't know about anyone else though. Like I trust Giannis to do that. But like Giannis, you know, he's been, you know, adamant about how much like he never takes things for granted, but like the others, like, are you gonna really convince, like, I really honestly don't think you're gonna be able to convince some of these guys to like come out and play harder. Like if James Harden makes the All-Star game this season, which is a very real possibility, like what incentive does he have to play harder? Like I just like there's James Harden doesn't even try defensively anyway, and like you're gonna ask him to suddenly be playing harder in the All-Star game, like it's just not gonna happen. So I don't know. I'm personally, I don't see it happening. Do we consider what Dort's signing will be to match from OKC? I think Dort's a unrestricted free agent, so right. So I don't know if we're gonna get Dort. Is Thibault too much an injury risk? I think Thibault's too just limited. He reminds me of Dalen Terry, so I would not be wanting Thibault personally. I guess he's better than Dalen Terry, I should say though. I agree though, yeah, like he's definitely huge with the turnovers and steals, but yeah. I wouldn't ask more from a center, be athletic, rim protector, screen center, rim runner. I'm good. I mean, I think that you would. ideally want more. Like Claxton, you know, like if he can like find like any sort of mid-range shot would be nice. But yeah, what Claxton does bring is kind of what we're looking for, or a lot of what we're looking for. But it's like it definitely could be a little bit inefficient from him at times. Like the only thing with Claxton is just like, you know, like he has to consistently make sure he's like above 60% from the field. Just, you know, that's very doable for him for sure. Like Jarrett Allen is the guy that I would personally want as like, yeah, he's our center. We're not getting him, but he would be our center personally. Giannis cares to get his teammates paid. I don't think the rest of the superstars give a damn. I mean, yeah, I think with Giannis, like he's like he understands, like, you know, he's definitely not had, it wasn't very rich in certain moments, but I don't know, he's always just been one of those stars to me that gives 110% effort every game. Like he's not one of those stars that like he knows he's better than everyone else and still doesn't, like, he's not going to give 100% effort. So that's just in Giannis. Like I think Giannis is just different. Like other guys, like I don't. No. I just want to see Giannis All-Star games, see players going gentle and steamroll into their chest. I mean, I would love to see that. Like if the international team is gonna go out and just blitz it, like just destroy the American squads, like I'm all for it. Like if they're gonna go and give actual effort, and like, you're gonna be seeing like you know Jokic like throwing up to Wemby and Giannis, and you know Shea is like breaking ankles, and Luka's, you know, just doing his incredible masterclass stuff, and you know, hitting step back threes and everything like that. Like I'm all for it. But I just don't know how much like Luka. I don't know how we're gonna get much out of him. Like he's a guy that also is probably not gonna try. Joker, I don't think he's gonna try. And I'm gonna assume that Wemby might be in a minutes restriction because like they're so scared of him getting injured. Any potential lob threats in this next year's free agency or draft? So I do not know much about the draft. I do think that's probably the more intriguing option. I do not know much about the draft at all, though. I'm not really in tune with the draft prospects, unfortunately. So that is not personally my forte. I will be, once, you know, March Madness hits and everything like that, I'll get more up to date with it all. But for me, I'm NBA strictly when it comes to this time of the year. You know, I'm aware of like Darren Peterson, you know, and Cam Boozer and stuff, but like I'm not like in tune with everyone else. Yeah. In terms of like free agents, it's not much. Like there's a lob threats. Like most of the lob threats are restricted free agents at centers, at the center position. And you know the other guys are like Mitchell Robinson, for example, is an option, but like he's injury prone. So it's not great options. Like Jackson Hayes is another option. Don't want him. Terrible person. Just I'll end it there. I don't want him. But yeah, it's not looking great in terms of like potential options as rim lobbers. So I think draft's your best bet. I don't really know who's available in the draft, but that's your best bet. And then trades is the other option, which I just don't want to trade, honestly, when I think you could just draft somebody. But that's just my opinion. Is there any center the Bulls can draft in 2026 draft? Yeah, so again, like unfortunately, I don't know what your name is, but it's ZOAA. That's what I see on my here. Yeah, I just don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sure that we can. If you want a draft site, I recommend NBA Draft Net. This is the website I personally go to. They have mock drafts, like alright, like they have mock drafts for even the next draft. So if you're wondering, like they have mock drafts for 2027. That's all ahead of, like, they're ahead of schedule. So if you ever are looking for like, hey, you know, who are some guys, you know, you could definitely disagree for, you know, for where they put these guys and everything, but like just to kind of see like who's like, you know, who's their top 30, who's their top 50 guys. You go ahead and just look through here. Yeah, these are options for sure. So yeah, like besides like AJ, Darren Peterson, Mikael Brown, and Cameron Boozer, I could not really tell you who any of these guys are. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're like, bro, like how you a basketball fan? I'm just an NBA fan, bro. Like I just don't really pay attention to college anymore. I never really I stopped paying attention to college since the Zion days of Duke. Like that was the last year I paid attention to college. was the Zion year at Duke. But since then, I just haven't really paid attention. Sorry. I wish I paid more attention, but there's too much basketball to watch, and I'm also, I pay attention to other things. So I'll just that's for someone else to be the expert on. Well, at least might be bad offensively, but he's his best perimeter defender, yeah. But you need someone to actually guard you, break his ankles. I mean, we've seen some ankle breaking where it's just like, they're not really trying. They try to swipe at the ball, and they'll, they miss and they fall over. So, I don't know. Carter's probably as a backup. He's restricted though, isn't he? Oh, it's a club option. Ah, God. They're keeping him. I like Darren Sharp a lot, but it's a club option, so. Seems too early to tell, but it seems like they let Vooch Walker re-sign Collins. I mean, it's not the worst case scenario. Again, it's just that Collins is very injury prone. I do not want to re-sign him to, like, $17 million a year, which I don't expect that, but, like, you got to be careful with how much you sign him for. Because, like, if he gets injured constantly, then you don't want to just have this dead money, right? So. Actually, Ron Booz came into a terrible draft that barely had anyone at each position worthwhile. Yeah. One of those top 3 dudes looks like a taller VJ. I believe it's Brown. I believe. Maybe it's Darren Peterson. I don't know, honestly. I've seen some Darren Peterson highlights. It's been they're pretty insane. So, like I said, I mean, like, if you get top 3, I think you're good. Will the Bulls get top 3? No, but I think you're good. Maybe how hard 10 teams follow by Pascal Matas. I mean, it is definitely kind of insane to look at it. But that draft is weird, bro. Like, I mean, Reese Shay's the top, like, weird draft. So I can't really blame too many people, but yeah, it's. I mean, like, I won't lie because when I scouted Matas, like, I didn't do much scouting, so like that was it was kind of just it was kind of just like a quick scout for Montes, but I wasn't like that impressed by him from what I saw. Besides, like, the shot blocking was like something that I was like, oh yeah, like that's gonna translate. There was definitely some intriguing stuff from him, but I was definitely concerned about the turnover issues that he had in the G League Ignite. Yeah, I didn't scout too much of him because I thought he was going top 5. Like, I was like, there's no reason to scout him. Like, why would he be here at 11? So, but once I did do some more look at him, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, this definitely is a guy that I'd be taking a risk on, and so far it's worked out well for the Bulls, and I'm very happy we took him. But yeah, he definitely, after, like, even after I took the time, like, after we drafted him, like, I took the time to really look at his film. I was like, huh, like, he definitely has the risk of being like a jack of all trades, but like masters of none. Like, that was a little bit concerning to me, but I really did appreciate that his defense was going to be, like, his shot blocking was going to be a very key thing early into his career. And that's going to be something that's not going to be just like an okay skill. It's going to be a very good skill of his. And if he can, figure out his dribbling and his 3-point shooting, like, he's a very, very good player. He might never become an all-star, but I do think that we're looking at a very quality player in our hands at the very least. Very quality starter. I mean, more fun to watch. But for me, it is personally. I don't like the college slowness of the game, but some people love it. I personally was not that involved in my college basketball program, so I probably should have been more involved at DePaul, but I'm all NBA, honestly. Give me him for a cheap backup center if we got both Collins and Vooch or Reith. Oh, yeah. I was rejected for a long time, so I don't want to pick. Oh no, he's shooting low percentage from 3 in G League. I mean, I think that there was a lot of look into the international, right? I think the whole Wemby, craze was pushing the international guys, like the French guys, like like how Ricochet and Sarr are French. I think that played a part of it, right? But I do agree though that after that, it's just kind of like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, Cody Williams going above Matas, like when that happened, like even with my even though I wasn't that high on Matas, right? Like, yeah, I didn't scout too much of him. Like, I thought Cody Williams was a more legit option for the Bulls. But even when Cody Williams went ahead of Buzelis, I was just like, what are the Jazz doing? Like, that is an insane pick. Like, you should be picking Buzelis over Cody Williams. That made no sense to me. Yeah, and they did that. So go for a timeout. But I think Lindy Waters for unrestricted free agent if they want a mid-season trade piece potential. Ooh, yeah, I wouldn't mind him. Yeah. Also never do up, but you're on, yeah. They also just a terrible draft class Booz was in. It was definitely a terrible draft class, it looks like. Like, Reece Shea, I think will be like an okay player. I just don't think he's gonna be star. I think Alex Sarr will also be like a pretty solid starter, but he's not gonna be star. Like they're okay. Cody Williams is bad. John Salon is also just boy. It's interesting. This one made no sense either. Klingon, we'll see. Dillingham has not really got much of an opportunity yet, but it's early. Edie's been all right. Yeah. Cody Williams though, bro, has just been so bad. I can't. There's nothing that I can do to try to defend Cody Williams. And John Salon's also in that category, just like, yo. These guys have had some rough moments. Castle's been good. I like what Castle's done with the Spurs. Glad I picked him for Rookie of the Year. That's been cool. Reed Shepard's honestly been like, he's been all right this year. So, you know, we're getting there. But I mean, yeah, it's been a rough class. Like Jeremy McCain, like was gonna win Rookie of the Year if he just didn't get injured, and he was a 16th overall pick. So, and this class, man, honestly, like, I'm honestly kind of betting on like McCain and like Buzelis to like become like all-stars or something, because it's just like this class is bad. Who knows? Like maybe someone else is gonna like blossom near the like, you know, later into the career here, but like this class, bro, is just, oh boy. It's pretty rough. Like AJ Johnson, bro. You remember this guy? Keyshawn George though is a guy. I won't lie. Keyshawn George is somebody for sure. Yeah. 5-team player to add it on the team is Bam Adebayo. You've literally fit our defense so much. Yeah, I mean, I think all-star caliber Bam Adebayo would be great to add. His contract's not pleasant, but yeah, I think he would fit perfectly well into this roster, and he can guard multiple positions, and he'd be a nice fit. But unfortunately, that is not. Yeah. Ron Hall made sense. Edie's, well, yeah. John Salon made no sense. Edie, I also didn't agree with, but like I can understand for some people's like opinions on things. Like, big man, like, okay, sure, I'll give it to you. Ron Holland, I also was okay with a little bit. I personally would have picked Buzelis over Ron Holland though. But I don't know. Like they saw something, I guess, the Pistons did, and I think Holland's gonna turn into something decent. He just doesn't have the star potential that Buzelis has. Shepard, I disagree. Yeah, I think that's also kind of crazy. I think Buzelis should have gone ahead of Shepard, probably. And it's just because I hate small guards. Small guards concern me. So, yeah. Too bad for the Hawks. I believe they had a high ceiling, but I think Trey was really holding that team down. Yeah, I think Trey's time as, like, being one of the better guards in the league might be... I don't know. It's an interesting time in his career right now. He's smaller. Like, he doesn't rely on athleticism, but he relies on his speed. He's never been always the best shooter. You know, he shoots a lot. But, like, he always, like, is able to get you, like, 10 assists a day. So, I don't know. Redo out Montes and Castle are number 1 and 2 interchangeable. Castle was a very good pick by the Spurs. Like, I will defend that pick very heavily, because that was a guy that I was like, yo, if the Bulls could get him, I would want Castle. But yeah, that was fine. And he might never turn into like an all-star, but like that's a very quality player, at least in my opinion. And like Castle's been very good this season. Ware is also another guy. Yeah, I think he would definitely be up there in the redraft. And then Keyshawn, from what we've seen so far. Yeah, here's Stephon Castle this season. I mean, like 18 like points per game, like nearly 2 steals. Like, yeah, his 3-point percentage is gonna always be this like work in progress. But like, I mean, he's been quality. I'm totally fine with him going ahead of Matas. That's fine. But these other guys, I don't know. They're it's definitely some interesting decisions by some of these general managers. Yeah, and honestly, I was probably lower on him than I probably should have been as well when it came to Matas. So, I'm just glad we got him. We have some work to do though. He has some work to do as well. Honestly, a really good start to him tonight, or a really good start to the game tonight. He then fouled out though, had some bad fouls, so he's got to work on some things. And we will be seeing if he's able to work on some of these things in our next game here. So, all right, y'all. Next game is tomorrow. Okay, so I appreciate the late night here tonight. It won't be as late tomorrow because it's gonna be a later start and everything. But Bulls have the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. I have little to no faith they're winning this game. Not necessarily because of just the lack of talent on this team, but because the Bulls are coming off the second game of back-to-back. They just played two overtimes in Utah and lost. Excuse me. No Kobe White in this game. And we're also playing this in Denver where the altitude's insane. So this team's already gonna be tired tomorrow, and you're gonna be going into the altitude. Good luck. I'm assuming Jokic is available. So if Jokic is not available, it's a different story. But Jokic to me is very clearly the MVP. And I don't know. I'm honestly concerned. I'm very concerned about this Bulls team facing the Nuggets. The Nuggets depth is also better than it was for last season. So, I honestly don't think your depth's gonna outshine the Nuggets depth either. Like, I really think that this is gonna be a tough one. So, good luck to everyone guarding Jokic. I wish you nothing but the best. You're probably gonna get absolutely wrecked. So good luck, Vucevic and others. Bulls gotta find a way to contain Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon has been off to an insane 3-point shooting start. And he's honestly just become a very good 3-point shooter, which is just ridiculous just to see where Aaron Gordon's become with his 3-point shooting. But props to him. But can't lose him. Guys off the bench like Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., these guys are very quality right now. The Nuggets have been very quality guys coming off that bench suddenly. Jonas Valanciunas has been very good. So even when Jokic goes to the bench, like Valanciunas is like actually a threat. Now, when was the last time Denver played, bro? What the fuck? Did they play Saturday? They better have. Okay, they did. Okay, they beat the Timberwolves. Okay. So the Nuggets are on the rest advantage. They're at home. Good luck to us. Yeah, we will see. No Christian Brown. I forgot about that. So that is gonna help here. And is Cam Johnson still out? Also, I don't know about his status. I know Christian Brown's out for a while. Cam Johnson's day to day, so we'll see if Cam Johnson's gonna be available for the game tomorrow. It would be a nice break if he isn't, but I mean, even without Cam Johnson, this team still went and just beat the Minnesota Timberwolves like pretty convincingly in Minnesota. So, God, good luck to us. Yeah, I don't have much faith, but we will see. We will see, honestly, if the Bulls are able to pull this one out. Going the Bulls to win versus Denver. If they win versus Denver, I honestly might just get more pissed because it's like, bro, you're in like such a disadvantageous situation here, and like you somehow find a way to muster up the energy and the desperateness to go and win this game in Denver. Like, I'm like, what? Where was this against Detroit? Where was this against Utah? Like, guys, come on. But yeah, I mean, honestly, with the way that the season's gone, they'll win against Denver. So we'll see. Got more faith in Sar. Higher ceiling might be in the reset shade. I agree. I think Sar is gonna be better than the reset shade. I agree with that. Yeah, he's already much better than last season. What improved across the board. Yeah. When do you think Noah will play his first NBA game? I think tomorrow's a legit possibility. Not in regular minutes, but because the Bulls are getting blown out. So He's with us on this road trip, so I expect to see him. If the Bulls are getting blown out, I expect to see him get some time. So we will see. Another Cam Johnson might play. Okay, got it. He might get some minutes after we are down 30 at halftime. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, honestly, is that we're going to see Senge get some minutes when it's a blowout. So there is also technically like a argument just to play him in regular minutes just because of how taxed the guys are from today. But we will see. I doubt it, though. You're about to take Vooch's lunch money. Girl will stuff you in the locker room. Oh, God. I know they're going to have dinner and everything, but good luck. Cam Johnson been trash thus far. He has been very terrible with his shooting so far. I just know that's not going to continue. Like, Cam Johnson's too good of a shooter for this to continue. And the fact that the Denver Nuggets are playing this well without Cam Johnson playing well is just very scary. Like, he has shot horribly from three-point range. And I know that's not going to continue. Like, he is too good of a shooter. And so the fact that this is happening and Denver still looks this good is very scary. So, yeah. We'll somehow beat the good teams and lose to the bad teams. It's the Billy Donovan way. Yep, we're on our way, bro. We are the perfect team for anyone to break out of their slump. Yeah, so Cam Johnson's going to put up 30 tomorrow, and he'll hit 8 threes against us. So it's perfect time, honestly. Yeah, I'm scared of like Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to like kill us, or Bruce Brown's going to kill us or something like that, because that's the way it's going to go. Like, we're going to be so focused on Murray and Jokic that the bench guys are coming in and kill us or something like that. So yeah, I'm nervous. Cam Johnson is a very real possibility of killing us, so yeah, good luck. So yeah, I'll be here though. I'll be here to talk about it, so check into the post-game stream after this game. 10:30 p.m. is assuming when the game ends, or whenever the game does end, if somehow this goes to overtime, which will be a miracle, which would be terrible for the Bulls because it's another overtime game, and they're already taxed. So if we're gonna win in regulation. If we're not gonna win, then just lose easily. I won't blame them too much for losing this one. It's gonna be a tough one. So good luck to everyone out there. You do before tip up. Well, good luck, boys. Have fun, I guess. Yep, I think that should be the game plan. Yeah. Thank you guys so much though for tuning in to this long stream and sticking with me throughout the night. I want to do a long stream since we had 3 days off, so I appreciate everyone tuning in and tuning into the content, everything like that, and chatting it up with me. It's been a lot of fun with you guys, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the stream and chatting with me about everything, Bulls basketball, NBA basketball, etc. I sincerely do appreciate it. If you have not hit the like button on the stream yet, please do help me out a lot. I sincerely do appreciate all the support on the channel. If you're new to the channel like Bulls content, please subscribe. And also I'm going to plug my most recent article one more time. We are, if you're wondering, On Tap Sportsnet is looking for views. So please, 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 please check out the article if possible. It really will help us a lot. So please go ahead and check that out. It's my most recent article. I posted this on Friday, I believe. It was Friday or Saturday, or Friday or Thursday. But it was after their loss to Detroit. So I think a lot of what I talked about in this article relates to what we saw today against Utah. So Bulls are on a 5-game losing streak. We've lost 6 of the last 7. We are 1-6 in November. So I unfortunately do not expect this to get better tomorrow, or I guess today, quote unquote. But good luck to us. Let's hope we find a way to try to just kind of stick around or something like that tomorrow. I'll be fine if we're able to find a way to stick around. So yeah, let's just see if the guys can put up a decent fight. But God, without Kobe and the double over OT game, but either way though, I'll be here to break it down with you guys after the game. So please tune into the channel for post game stream when the game ends. We'll keep it short and sweet because we'll see what happens. So that will be that. But thank you guys once again. Thank you guys to everyone in my community. I sincerely do appreciate every one of you. Appreciate chatting with me and being respectful to everybody and respectful to me. So I sincerely do appreciate that. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow if you're gonna be in chat. So I'll see you guys then. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for the stream. Had a lot of fun. Be safe. Have a good night. Peace.